확정되기 전에도 어느 정도 생각은 하고 있었고요. 그리고 앞으로 힘든 길이 계속해서 펼쳐질 거라고 생각하고 있었습니다.
애초에 챌린저스 코리아에 참가를 할 때 승강전이 목표였기 때문에 승강전을 올라가는 거는 당연하다고 생각을 했고, 스프링 때랑은 다르게 우승을 하고 승강전을 꼭 올라가고 싶었는데 우승을 하고 승강전을 가게 돼서 이번에는 좀 기대가 큽니다.
저희가 시즌 끝나고 승강전이 한 달 이상 남아 있었어요. 그래서 많이 지쳐 있었어서 좀 회복할 수 있는 시간을 좀 가졌고요. 그리고 그 이후에는 이제 평소랑 똑같이 시즌 준비하듯이 연습하고 있습니다.
스프링 시즌 때 경험을 통해서만 좀 배울 수 있었던 저희 팀의 단점 같은 부분들을 가장 먼저 극복하고 그런 부분을 채워나가는 위주로 준비를 했습니다.
애초에 오지 말았어야 하는 무대인데 어떻게 이왕 가게 된 거 반드시 살아남도록 하겠습니다.
저랑 그리고 열심히 하고 있는 선수들 다 CJE 엔투스를 살리기 왔고 이번에 꼭 1부 리그로 올라갈 테니까 많이 응원해 주시고 기대해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
힘들겠지만 조금만 더 파이팅해서 꼭 살아남자.
열심히 준비했고 재능 있고 충분히 잘할 수 있는 너희들이니까 부담 갖지 말고 최선을 다해서 경기에 임했으면 좋겠다.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final day of LCK Promotions for 2018 Spring Split. My name is Valdez. With me is Crumbs. As usual, we're going to be bringing you BBQ versus CJE Entus, a best of 5.
This is the end of the line for both these teams. The winner gets a spot in 2018 Spring. That is a very tight-knit group because they have been stellar this entire split, and now these two teams that have faced each other in round 1 will have a chance to go at it once again for that final spot, but they are no strangers to the meta that has been developing here in this promotion tournament. And let's just say that the first one that can break it is likely to be the victor.
Yeah, I mean, if you go and look at what these guys were playing, it didn't seem like they wanted to play too much of the Kog'Maw style of protect the hyper carry. We see a lot more Trist and other stuff, but as you guys can see, after their match on Tuesday, BBQ still remains ahead 8-3 in terms of games.
And while they do remain ahead, their morale has suffered a whole lot. Ghost in particular, the guy that has been known for underperforming, for nerves on stage, has had a very rough promotion tournament, especially that Game 4 against Kongdu Monster. But the rest of the squad overall, they've been shifting away from the playstyle that they had before. Their teamwork has collapsed. They have resorted to a wide variety of champion compositions instead of sticking to something that has worked for them in the past. But we can at least hope that, as you see, that the damage distribution, obviously the compositions have been focused on the AD carry, but in the mid lane, Temp, they have to put this guy on a damage dealer. There is just no way around it. Enough with the supports in the passive early game. They gotta shake it up.
Yeah, we've said it before. Tempt has so much potential to carry his team, but when he's playing stuff like Galio, stuff like Karma, it's just not really that fun to watch for the team because he can't carry his team. He's like jumping in, he's doing all the greatest plays, the 4-man Galio stuns, taunts rather, and it just doesn't matter because his team is like, oh, I don't know, I'm too scared to go in. Ghost is like a screen away. Well, it's kind of frustrating to watch sometimes.
I do think that he's now earned himself almost a permaban in the Corki. He has found a lot of success on the Corki carrying his teams, but he's going to be up against Candy, who hasn't had the best promotion tournament except for one pick, the Syndra. That champion cannot be allowed to be given to the hands of Candy. He was 7-0 in the regular split on it, 2-0 here in the promotion tournament, and ever since, it has always been banned. They have to prioritize mid lane, and what do these guys say, Valdez?
Just saying, please go to LCK. As you can see, the little crying face there in the middle.
That's actually a rooster.
Yeah, they crying rooster, man. After losing to Kongdu, I'd be crying too. But you gotta show up today. It's another best of 5. You get one more chance. They've had a lot of time to regroup. By a lot of time, I do mean a couple of days. You guys will notice that Bless is not in the lineup today. Bono is going to be replacing him. Cannot wait to see what he brings to the table.
And we actually have no idea what Bono is going to bring to the table because he has not played a single game with BBQ this entire year. So we've got a lot to wonder about what this player has in store for us. But if there's one thing that we can expect somebody being put in this position is that he'll likely play everything that's met him. And for the jungle, it's pretty easy. You got 3 champions you got to play: Sejuani, Gragas, and Jarvan. Previously, BBQ had not been playing Jarvan, and so you would wonder that with the addition of a new jungler, he would bring a new champion.
I mean, if he plays Jarvan and plays a better Gragas than Bless did, I think we already have an upgrade if he comes in like that. So lots on the line here for him in terms of finally getting a shot. You mentioned that we haven't seen him even one game take over Bless's spot, but finally, when LCK is on the line, they decide, hey man, Bless had a pretty bad best of 5. Now it's your turn to get a shot. And so lots of pressure for him as well as on this team. That is Ghost. He plays a lot of Tristana. The picture wasn't actually Ghost, it was Tristana for you guys who are... Although I'm beginning to see a small resemblance.
And here's something interesting about Bono, actually. Can you guess when he joined the team, Valdez?
Just because you asked me that, it was probably a while ago.
He has been on BBQ for a total of 9 days.
Oh, wow, that's the exact opposite.
So they basically got this guy just for promotion tournaments.
Wow.
And now on the final game, they've chosen to add him. And you got to imagine that he's got some magical touch here. That he is so young to the team, has no previous experience, no record of him anywhere else. And he comes in here. Is he smurfing in the Challenger League?
Maybe. I can't wait to see what he brings in now. That makes it even more exciting because it's only 9 days. This guy could be fantastic. Maybe he's a new up-and-comer. You know, you never know in situations like this. All the other teams up on top, they're preparing for Worlds. They're not looking for new players. Maybe he's like, okay, this is my opportunity. Let me try to carry BBQ. But let's jump into ban pick here for game number 1. All stuff that we can expect at this point in terms of bans. Yeah,
we've covered the Cho Xayah from Kongdu in their 5-game series, rather 4-game series against BBQ Olivers. But the Janna was the pick that developed itself as the potential first pick on the red side, on blue side. Everybody wanted to first pick Janna. It's because the game's turned into a passive, wait for the opposing team to make a mistake kind of game. And so getting rid of her and Lulu combined means that BBQ will now have to resort to a strategy that didn't work for them, which was look for engage, look for more aggression. They'll have to fix their coordination, but at least they'll have that star AD carry champion. Ghost has to live up to the expectations that these champions are setting for the rest of the world.
Well, game 4 was a little bit of a, you know, a smudge spot on his record, if you will, because that was not his finest game. Definitely the pressure was beginning to get to him. He was looking nervous, but he's had a couple of games to, or rather days, to get prepared for this matchup, this best of 5. Corki and Gragas. Couple of power picks coming in here for CJ.
This is really smart out of CJ. So you notice that Syndra is still available. Candy could easily go for that pick, but locking away the Corki early is telling Temp, we're just going to prioritize shutting down BBQ because we realized that they were very bad at making anything proactive happen. So get him out of comfort, put him on the spot right on the last game. And guess what? Temp is actually not a very good Syndra. He went 0-4 in the entire season, regular season, for that pick. Not a very impressive champion for his repertoire. Sure, he might be changing it up, but he'll now be facing a very strong mid lane.
Again, 2015, November 14th. That is when BBQ formerly ever defeated CJ Entus in the Caspa Cup Finals. So Yeah, that's the exact date. And, well, we have another Ezreal pick here for Veritas. He's going to get another shot at this. If you guys do remember, we had Singed and Ezreal picked up by CJ, and it won them a game. Very one-sided.
It worked very well for them. Rather, the Singed, I think, was a big highlight. The Ezreal was cool, but did not stand out as much as what Soul was doing with the Flash Singe, jumping onto a Kog'Maw time and time again. But the Ezreal, getting locked away this early, takes away the suspicion of him being jungle Ezreal, which is what we've been dying to see. But hey, you've got Gragas in a double AD carry composition. That's the best guy for it.
I like the start here for CJ. They've definitely done their research coming into this best of 5, which is something we said was an advantage for CJ, even though they don't have 2 best of 5s to have a chance to get into LCK, have a bit of time to study and relax. We do have another one of these, you know, shielding supports taken away in the Karma.
You got to get rid of these kinds of champions here. Force the teams to actually want to win. No longer can you rely on your opponent's mistakes, because that forces you to be a reactive player. You have to prompt the mistake. That's what you need to be doing. The proactivity comes from setting the right vision, proper wave management with a strong enough draft, puts the opponent in positions where they have to make decisions on the fly. They slip up, and that's how you punish, as opposed to a passive fest of, well, we're just going to do nothing and wait for you to do even less. For you to do worse than nothing.
Yeah. Rakan is another one of these supports that actually builds Ardent Sensor. So they're just taking away everything that could potentially build that. So we're seeing Zyra come in with all the support bans we've seen in total. Let me count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 support bans, and Taric versus Zyra in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I'm not feeling much of this game plan out of BBQ, with a lot of targeted bans already at the bottom lane. Janna and Lulu obviously have to be included into that. But Pure has not had any difficulty with champion pool the entire split already in the regular season. He has a whopping 11 different champions played. So you're banning out 3. It's not a big deal. And those 3 aren't even his main ones. I mean, this is a guy that played brand support. So yeah, he has a deep enough champion pool for this. And we might get to see the revisit of Singed and Ezreal.
Exactly, especially with Jax being locked in. This is the pick. He picked it against last time just to counter the Jax. He didn't even stay in lane against him. He just proxied for half the game. And so Soul is essentially being given the alley-oop to pick that Singed up.
Now remember that this time, Singe is not going to be up against a Kog'Maw though. So it's a lot harder for the Singe to be effective in dealing with these hyper carries if they can get away and blast him away too. So the Mauka gets locked in as a safe choice instead. He won't be able to proxy the Jax, but at least he'll be able to farm, keep him at bay. And while BBQ do have Thalia and are putting Tempt on a carry that can influence the side lanes, he will also be up against Corki and Package that can have just as much influence in harming that Jax as the Thalia can in helping him out.
Yeah, and they're putting Bono on just a safe team fighting kind of champion. You know, no big carries. He's not going to have a super flashy first game on BBQ, so something easy enough to get him some experience in the booth.
You say it's easy, Valdez, but we have seen Sejuani's miss ultimate.
Well, I should say straightforward, right? You know,
right, straightforward. That's how Sejuani mains will always say. Sure, the ultimate's straightforward. You just shoot it out and it lands. That's, well, unfortunately not the kind of Sejuanis that we have seen for quite some time. So he definitely has big shoes to fill, because it's a really embarrassing ultimate to miss. It hits your morale.
It's very obvious.
Yeah, it hits your morale. It thwarts the entire game plan. You got to wait so long before you make a new play, but he'll at least have a solid composition to back up his engage with Totoro's Taric. And the synergy between these two will have to come into play if BBQ want to make this work. They need to be proactive.
Very true. I do like the draft here from CJ, though. The Corki on Candy, we've seen that coming in so many times and doing tons of work, especially in the late game. The poking that comes out of that one champion can be really impressive. So we'll be up against the Thalia of Tempt, though. Let's hop into game number 1, guys, as the fans are already getting excited for this one. Let's hop on to the Rift right now. That was a little bit all over the place, but we'll give him a pass. It's day number 1.
I think
game
they
number 1.
really like Star Guardian Ezreal.
Huge cheers going out.
Like straight out of a Final Fantasy game.
You gotta love the hair, you know. They didn't skimp on any of the details.
Where's Star Guardian Taric?
Did we even get
Just
to look at
make
Taric yet?
everyone Star Guardian. He's not.
He doesn't have a.
He's bare-chested, which I think is what I would have cheered, and many other people in the crowd were cheering for when they showed the muscular Taric.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, he'll be up against his worst enemy, the last person he wanted to be up against, Ezreal versus Taric.
Ezreal versus Taric. Also Zyra versus Taric. It's going to be the farm lane. But look at this. Ghost is on top of a ward. And, well, Zyra blows their cover, gives it away.
No shenanigans early. The only things that do come to mind is that not only is Taric a really tough lane to die in, he's taken heal, and Ghost has taken barrier. So they're putting everything once again to have Ghost survive.
Mm-hmm. Just a super passive lane. Sit back, farm as much as possible, and try not to die.
That's going to be really hard, though, when you're up against Zyra. It's a big shift from what we expected to come out of Pyrrh. The rest was still available. We've seen how it works against Tristana. The flash plays are great. It serves as a nice shielding for your AD carries with the Lantern, but having the Zyra means that BBQ's bottom lane no longer gets a free pass down there. They're up against a lot of harass, a lot of punishment between Zyra and Ezreal early on. And
yeah.
With all the defensive supports, what you can expect out of here is a big CS disparity growing between Veritas and Ghost.
It's definitely going to feel a lot different from the games they played against Kongdu, that's for sure. See if they can adapt soon enough, as it seems like BBQ is just kind of on the same page in terms of what they wanted to do. You guys can already see the poke here at level 2.
Look at what has happened in this CS score. Veritas had missed one before, but it's 12-6. It's pretty good for them, and they're just whacking away at the turret, and they know that Sejuani is not going to be able to pull off anything spectacular this early on.
Yeah. You can see even an early ward just spotting the Krugs here, trying to make sure that Gragas isn't coming down for a cheeky early gank on this very defenseless lane. But this ward is going to spot him up towards the top side, so they know they'll be safe down there for now.
But you know, we highlight bottom as a point of strength here for CJ Entus, but Soul's last hitting top has been awful. He's 12-21. He's not against Ezreal Zyra. He's up against just Jax. Mauka has the ability to at least last it in that lane better than what is currently going on.
Okay, this ward is going to spot Bono coming in. And he's right on top of a ward, so they just back off. Not too much, though. They don't want to give up too much pressure. The only thing I will say about top side is that Jax was able to pick up 2 of the Raptors, 2 of the mini ones, so he did hit level 2 on the first wave. So maybe he was able to exert a bit more pressure in the lane because of that.
True, that does come into play, and now he's not that far ahead, actually. So Maokai's done a good job of catching back up. Just worrisome for the first wave when it was already starting to grow, but if he can keep up, that's all that's necessary for this lane.
Soul has definitely shown his ability to play multiple different champions.
Oh, he missed the cannon.
Yeah, he missed that. But I'm sure, you know, any top laner at this point needs to know how to play Maokai if you want to be at the top level.
Even in solo queue, Maokai is great.
Yeah.
You can actually kill people, believe it or not. You can tank forever, so your positioning mistakes are not easily as punishable. And best of all, you get to wear a cat onesie.
If you have the skin, that is.
Well, why would you play Mauka if you don't have the skin?
I mean, well, what if you need a safe tank top?
No skin, no Maokai.
This poke is pretty ridiculous.
Teams remake scrims from wrong skins. They try to on stage, but it's not really allowed.
Scrims?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Wrong skin, sorry. Remake.
Wow. It's pretty crazy. I was going to say that I'm not a top lane player, but I played Mauka because I got to put into the top lane with the system, and I'm like, okay, Mauka is easy enough. And so I did that, and they picked Nasus against me. I'm like, they've been doing their research, actually. This guy in solo queue.
How'd it go?
I did well in lane, but eventually Nasus just got too out of control. We pushed them really early, we got an inhibitor, but a couple of team fights later, they also had Tristana, who was getting out of control. So. Well, enough of my solo queue rants. We got an engage here that actually forces the flash out of Pure at level 4.
And didn't want to risk anything happening there. Look at Veritas's HP. He's not that healthy to assist with full out all-in from BBQ, and Tarek Sustain has come into play. He's packing a lot of regeneration, same with Tristana and her Doran shield. So while the harass looks to be great out of Zyra, now that the levels are starting to add up for BBQ, it's no longer that powerful. Remember, there's a reason why we started out with the harass supports being the main supports in the bottom lane, and then eventually when the Doran shield got introduced, when people learned that you could go double defensive summoners where it's a lot easier to weave in different champions into the bot side, we shifted over to hard engage because you could get out of laning phase and influence the map more.
We saw Tempt edging his way down towards bottom side. He is level 7, hasn't used his Weaver's Wall to influence either of these lanes just yet. We were talking about how this is a great pick for Tempt because he's quite good at the Thalia, and this is basically where her strengths lie, but so far hasn't really found an opportunity. Tried to go bot, but immediate pings came out and they just backed off.
Top is the only one that comes to mind here, considering the heavy investment in vision that BBQ already have. Double control wards, although it will be reduced to 1 with Mauka clearing it, and the entire river has been taken care of. Not only a Scuttle Crab, but a green ward in the pixel, as well as the Tri. So she's set up to go there, but Wing's already expecting it.
We got another engage down here. Pure taking a bunch of damage. No more flash. Here comes Tempt. And this might just be a dead Zyra. First blood goes over to Tempt. Flying on in on his wall.
Surf is up in the bottom lane, and Tempt gets to catch the wave and first blood for himself. So now, not only is he not punished in CS because Corki was basing at the same time, making the timing of his roam that much better, he gets to pick up first blood and swing back the lane for BBQ. They're already doing a good job in catching back up, surviving through the early harass, but now they're gonna get ahead. They have damage onto the turret, and one more visit for any one of these teams down here, and we're gonna likely see a fight over first brick.
And he picks up his package, but there's nowhere to gank. And we're going to take another look at this. Pure is level 5. He has no flash, and he doesn't root Ghost. So Ghost is like, okay.
Right away, even before the engage happened, Thalia was making her way down. So she was so ahead of the play that BBQ clearly showed that they were communicating that they wanted to go into Pure, punishing the lack of summoner spell. And it seems like that might be the game plan that they're going for. A little bit more aggressive than what we saw in their matches against Kongdu, but just getting a lane advantage when it comes to summoners and then punishing that is not a bad strategy for a game 1. Feel out your opponent, see where they're at.
They should be very happy with their start so far. Bono so far has been looking for a couple of ganks, but hasn't really found much. Also had the blue buff stolen away from his side of the map by Winged, making it pretty annoying for this newer jungler.
You know that also becomes slightly annoying is that I can't look at him and not picture the U2 singer, the real Bono.
I know.
With the glasses. He's got to have glasses. Why is he not allowed to wear purple glasses?
I mean, I'm sure he is, but he just decided not to.
Such a conflicting name.
I mean, there's got to be a reason that he picked the name, right? Maybe he's a fan, but we'll have to wait and see maybe if he can get into an interview. If BBQ wins this, of course, we will have the team interview. Uh-oh, Winged in a pretty bad spot here, trying to get away. He will flash for that body slam.
I am surprised that Bono chose not to utilize his ultimate there. Could have easily been able to find a pick onto the Gragas, who doesn't have any magic resist right now, and Thalia is on a spike of Sorcerer Shoes, so I think there could have been more than enough damage to take out Wing. Taking out your support early on means that your lanes will continue to flourish.
I definitely do agree. Maybe just holding back. Maybe he wanted to wait until the flash came out, but after the flash came out, he didn't even commit to it. So holding on to an ultimate, perhaps, is another show of, you know, that greenness of being a rookie. Ghost is looking good so far in the lane. He's been dodging a lot of these roots, and I think the early trades that they've had have been giving him confidence. He's caught up to Ezreal now in farm.
It's going to get easier for him too, because he has a nice itemization when it comes to laning. You've got Zerkers and BF versus Tyr and Sheen, so he's got more flat damage than Ezreal, who really can only win in these trades by poking at you, hitting that Sheen proc and getting that extra damage in. Otherwise, he will struggle when it comes to just trading blow for blow against Tristana. So they both have to hang back and just wait for the minions to crash against each other before looking to take any real aggressive trade.
And you mentioned before, Singed was really the star performer in that game when we had Ezreal Singed. This time Ghost does get rooted, but as a Tristana, it's easy enough. If your reaction time is fast enough, you just hop away as that root is coming in.
And Ghost's laning phase wasn't all that bad. It was really the team fights that started to look horrendous for him. So I think that him getting out here, we still have yet to see what he can bring to the table when it comes to his team relying on him, but at least they haven't gone with a composition that has him be so important. You've got Jax, you've got Thalia. They can actually win the game by themselves, and now they'll have an Infernal Dragon to add to their resume.
Yeah, I like the proactivity here of Bono. He just starts it up, calls over Tempt, and it's not like they had complete control over the area, but a couple of very nicely placed control wards offer them enough vision and vision denial so that they can sneak that one through. Infernal Drake this early is quite nice.
I think that came out of the early back from Totoro. Remember when Veritas was looking for Ghost and he was by himself, jumps out of the root? Well, Tariq was busy helping Sejuani set that play up, and when you have pushing lanes in mid, everything around it becomes that much easier.
Thinking about a play down here, but all the vision is denied.
Do you like U2?
Not really. I mean, it's okay. Not the biggest fan myself. What about you?
Not the biggest fan. I had some songs on cassette.
Cassette. Huh?
Yeah. I'd wait for the songs to come on the radio.
Back in the
and
day,
then record them when it came on, and then save them in my cassette, and then re-listen. That's how you used to listen to music, kids.
Most people in our chat probably don't know what a cassette is.
Oh, I'm sure
Whoa.
they do.
Look at this.
It's on T-shirts.
Even so, that was an interesting use of Mauka Ultimate.
Just really wanted to shove the wave out.
Looking for a play now onto Tempt. He flashes early. Does not get slowed up by that package.
The only way for that play to have work is if he actually got knocked into Gragas, because as Thalia, you're worried that the flash body slam is going to come out, and that is a big threat to you. You don't have cleanse, you're going to get bopped right away. But remember that Tempt and Bono got to burn Wing's flash, so it wasn't available for that play. However, flashing early is the right call. A lot of times, you just don't even want to take any damage so that you can continue applying pressure in the lane, because you know that the jungler is so unlikely to revisit you again. The setup to find another opportunity in mid is so time and effort consuming that he's likely to just continue on his merry way, and we'll just have to live without having no flash.
Tempt's going for a wall. He's not even riding it. He's just placing it down and coming over with the help of his team. There's 4 members of BBQ here looking for first brick. The 4 members of CJ grouping up, and they will save it for now.
This is what BBQ was not doing in their series against Kongdu, being proactive in the lanes that they got leads on. Now, it looks nice here, but it's still putting effort into Ghost. Is it going to pay off? Is it actually going to be the right call this time? I think that you wouldn't be making these moves if you didn't feel confident in your AD carry, if you didn't talk to him after, if you still didn't have faith in him. So I think that BBQ is doing what they think is best.
Ghost pushing down here by himself. You saw Totoro and Bono looking for a play, but they were standing right on top of a ward. Does get thwarted. But here we go. The first brick will come down, and that gold graph is not updated as it does go down. BBQ now with a 3,000 gold lead.
3,000 gold lead, and all of the objectives have gone their way. We're not going to see the bottom lane switch up to top just yet. Jax, while he does have his Trinity Force, is more than okay to continue laning here against the Mauka, and they need to go catch that wave back bottom. But what needs to happen now is that Bono will have to be setting up the vision for the next rotation of the AD carries. So this is where a new jungler would truly start to struggle with. So a laning phase was fine, but what can he bring to the pool? What do we even know about this guy? If you know anything about this guy, please tell us, because this guy is a bigger Ghost. It's the biggest than Ghost himself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely hit us up on Twitter if you got any inside information. If your friend's cousin went to school with Bono, you can also tell us about that.
We're going to get pictures of
the U2 singer.
U2 Bono.
It's like, yeah, I went to go see him in concert one time. They were pretty good. Wrong Bono, guys. He didn't switch to League of Legends.
Wrong Bono. Well,
we have tons of vision over here for CJE. Looks like they really want to take Rift Herald.
It's tons of vision, almost like being comatose and only your eyes are working, because we're at a snail pace of 1 kill every 18 minutes here, Valdez.
Nice. This is what we came to expect from promotions, especially after seeing Kongdu play just Kog'Maw comps over and over and over again.
And the lead is nice, but now they got to shoot for the Rift Herald, but it's going to be a lot tougher for BBQ. I don't think they're going to have such an easy time cracking this turret as they did in the previous one, because Ezreal already completed Trinity. He's pretty darn spiked. Zyra can always teamfight you, and unless they actually push the waves effectively as opposed to just camping brushes, I think they'll have a really tough time cracking through CJ's second tier 1.
We saw Crazy. We got one look at it in the bottom lane, but this is something they've been giving to Crazy over and over again, is these carries, these split pushers. We've remarked multiple times how he's not the most, flashy top laner. He's not going to go in there and get solo kills as he dives in and just barely get out. He's no Khan, but they continuously do this, where they put him on picks like Jax, and he had that one game where he had a good response where he went for the inhibitor when they realized that they couldn't contest the Baron. But then later on in the same game, he got caught pushing a little bit too far. So it's like he's on the cusp of being really quite good at these split laners, split pushers.
He's now on the cusp of earning his own first solo kill. Sejuani comes in to assist, but he got it on his own. He's got the red buff for himself.
Look at this fight, though. It's going on right now. Candy versus Tempt. He has the package and gets away. The rest of his team is there to support him.
So Jax with the red buff gets a lot of pressure onto Sol, and might be able to get that tier 2 with that red buff with Sejuani by his side. I think that this is a likely scenario. I don't think Sol is going to teleport down here. You've got Candy basing. He might have to pick up the slack in the bot side and instead goes mid. So that's going to be a tier 2 likely going BBQ's way if nobody looks at it. But Wing decides it's his duty to do so. And you were talking about Crazy's Jax. They've actually been putting him on very different carries all the time. You're saying that they have him on carries, but they never actually stuck to one champion for him. This is the first time they've gone and revisited the Jax pick. Look for it again. It worked in a way against CJ. Remember the Singed, but there were other elements about that game that were obviously missing for BBQ. But having the Jax this time means that the team can feel confident that something that worked for them before is at their disposal.
Yeah, especially when you can get off to a good start like this with the second kill in our game. We are averaging 1 per 10 minutes, as is kind of the average here at all of promotions. But the Baron wasn't up yet, so it was a good rotation down by Sejuani because the Rift Herald was just disappearing and the Baron hadn't spawned yet. So there was no way that they could really abuse the fact that the jungler was out of position, and it was a really good timing there by Bono.
You know, you're talking about time. Here's a fun fact about time itself. We get a kill every 10 minutes, and the breaks between games are 8.5. So it takes longer to get a kill here than wait for the games to switch from game 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 and so forth.
There you go. Fun fact about time, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.
That's like when the teacher tricks you. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a really fun assignment today.
How would you ever believe that?
You don't.
Really fun assignment.
Your homework's fun today.
Yeah, it's like you got to go to the library and do a bunch of research. Isn't that interesting? You get to learn so much.
Hey, that actually is really fun.
I think it's fun as adults. I've learned that when I was in school, I disliked the whole schooling and education system for what it was. Like, it didn't make me want to learn. It just made me memorize facts and not really do much with them, except just forget them the next day. But now that I've become an adult, I'm like, yeah, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to do this and that, and it's almost too much at this point.
You know, I heard that Finland actually has the best education system, and they do things differently where you don't have to go to school at 9 in the morning. I think it's 10. You don't have to go there for a ton of hours. And there's a gank, though.
Yeah, here we go. Pure just runs straight at Bono. Put him in the bone zone, and here we go. Soul is going to get in here, too. He will have to flash away. And so it doesn't look like there will be any more kills afterwards, but Bono slapping Zyra around there in the top lane.
That's Pure already dying twice on the side of CJE Entus, and we get ourselves our first 5-man action for on BBQ, shooting for that turret buff. With 4 people defending here, I don't think they're going to be able to commit to cracking this turret down, but I love this move out of Crazy. Rotates as quickly as he can to the objectives, and this is all he's got to be doing this game. Demolitions expert. Keep shooting for turrets. You know that CJ also struggled to be proactive in their first match against BBQ Oliver, so this is a good response from him and makes the pick that much more powerful.
Yep, damage dealt is crazily in Crazy's favor so far. He's just been whacking at that tree. He's been practicing for the late game, if you will. And even coming in here after getting mid-turret and stealing the Wolves, because why not?
This is perfect. You don't really want to ask for more out of your Jax. He'll TP to help you out if necessary, but his mind is always on turrets. Shooting for gold, because now he's already about 60 CS up onto the Mauka. He's been pressuring the map well, and it forces CJ to make difficult decisions. That's what we were talking about in the pregame. It's not about being passive. It's about forcing your opponent to make difficult choices as often as possible. Do you go answer the Jax? Every time that Jax is in the lane, you're like, well, who's going to deal with this? Do we want to send somebody to kill him? If at some point CJ decides to send somebody down, that could be the cue for BBQ to start bearing themselves, and it's an example of them forcing CJ to make a wrong choice.
Well, this might be the first rookie mistake out of Bono. He gets caught face checking a brush, and a perfect pass. Wing is going to bring him back into the team and win the trade for his team.
That cast was stellar. I actually thought that was going to send him the other way, but
yeah,
that was more than impressive. And what wasn't is that Totoro chose to not save Bono's life. He had enough with the music, not using the ultimate to keep his new jungler alive.
We'll see what kind of pressure CJ can get on the map now. They take out the jungler, and they wanted to push mid, but they couldn't get mid. And now we have Pure just recalling, so no objectives will be taken after that kill.
Just a nice pick there out of the CJE Entus squad, fighting for wards. That's how it always happens. You don't expect the Gragas in the brush, and with passive down, everybody jumps onto it. Unfortunate for him that the ultimate actually hit the Zyra and not the Ezreal. Had the Sejuani ultimate hit the damage dealer, he would not have died.
That cask was literally perfect. It was right in front of him. 180 degrees. Turns right back around. They do pick up that kill, so. Winged is on his Gragas game today. Second item, Knight's Vow. That's just been the name of the game here for these tank team fight junglers.
It's been the name of the game for a couple of weeks now, maybe even months. The item has been so strong with the AD carries finally being acknowledged as incredibly important roles in the current meta. It's a disadvantage these days to not actually have a Knight's Vow at times. It's almost as important as what Locket used to be.
Temp just strolls up to top lane and takes out another turret, and Candy gets there late, even though he had his teleport available, so they just give another one away. We have another team fight, and that is that awkward Sejuani ult, but the perfect knockback here by the Thalia onto Wing. They want that kill, they're going deep. Temp goes into the first step, it's unbelievable. Veritas has to flash out of that one. Cosmic Gradient's on the backside, doesn't really do anything, but the flashy parts were early on in that team fight.
And Crazy came in with a huge 3-man stun. The Titanic Hydra just bursting down. The tanks are tanky for CJ. They get to survive for quite some time, but the rest of the lineup can't do it. And they're facing a Baron, but they're going to lose this and likely lose the fight.
There's no smite. Wing, he's just, Solo's just walking on in there. And he's going to go down. Let's see if they can pick off any more. Candy accidentally auto-attacks that ward. And he's got a Jax on his tail with no Valkyrie. That's going to be another kill going over. Can we have another one? Ghost will say yes, and down goes Veritas.
And this BBQ is such a refreshing sight to see. They are grouping together. They are not having these huge botches in the team fights. They understand what their roles are as these different champions. And now, they're being more proactive than any other game that we've seen them this entire promotion tournament. They're looking for an inhibitor turret in under 30 minutes.
Should be able to get it here. There's absolutely no defense. Zyra and Gragas alone can only poke and just watch as their turret and their inhibitor will go down. That will be the first one going over. There we go, as it does go down. Before 28 minutes, BBQ still have 2.5 minutes of Baron buff left.
Yes, and they got the first inhibitor right away. This means that Jax becomes much stronger, but first, let's look at how this fight started. It goes off the jungler. So first it was Bono, now it's Winged, and even though Sejuani ulti misses, Thalia gets a great shove back onto the Gragas, and unfortunately the cast can't get rid of everybody, but this ultimate and stun can. You don't get more picture perfect than that 3-man in this specific moment in the setup for your Baron, killing the jungler, pushing the opponent back, and while you have the inside track to Baron, that was excellent.
It's quite fantastic, and the Corki might have had a better shot of, you know, being part of that fight if he hadn't gotten knocked off the wall that Tempt had sent through. He was forced to burn the Valkyrie early so that he actually did get hit by that stun and was forced to flash away. So it was kind of an unfortunate series of events, but so far Crazy's Jax has really been on point, and they're all recalling right next to Crazy.
For a pick, but they are unaware of his positioning. This is just awesome to see because normally a split pusher would give his position away and would go on the minion wave, but there's no need to do so. Why? Because BBQ, their 4-man, is not yet under pressure, and so if he were to die, it would be a free kill because his counterpart, the rest of his team, would be unable to get anything out of it. So by him waiting behind in the shadows until the rest of the squad is inside the base, pushing a turret, is the right call, and now he gets to have Thalia and effectively waste some time out of CJ.
Well, so far, as CJ fails to follow up, look at that damage out of Tristana now. BBQ is 14,000 gold ahead, and since the beginning of this game, even though it started out slow, they've been looking like the heavy favorites coming into this one. I was expecting another very close best of 5 like we saw on Thursday, but BBQ, they have other ideas in mind.
And this is a massacre. They've been playing excellently, and what was going on before Valdez, because this makes no sense. If you took the nameplates off and told me that that game 4 was BBQ and that this one is as well, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, we have another fight here. Soul, he's all alone. He's very tanky, but he gets stunned up. CC chain forever, and he will be going down here. The damage that's coming out of Tristana and Tempt right now is unbelievable. The flash forward. They're going for the ace underneath this.
Go for the penta.
They got to go for it.
Give it to him.
They got to go for it.
Give it
Let's
to
group
him.
up. Let's
it's the
group
confidence.
Up. Here we go. Bono going in. They're going to tank it, and down he will go. And the Penta will go over to Tristana, and Ghost, even though he dies, will pick up that Penta. A huge confidence booster for him and his team.
It could not get more better than that for BBQ's opening game here. Confidence, destruction over CJ, and under the average game time. They're up 1-0, and it's looking good.
Absolute demolition here in game number 1. BBQ, they've come in hot and ready tonight. Crispy and clean is this rooster coming into the booth. They made it look easy, man.
These wings are spicier than what we ordered, Valdez. We thought we were going to get stale, soggy, maybe even microwaved. But freshness, tingy almost. A spice you can't feel. And CJ, stunned.
Yeah, they don't really know what to, how to feel after that
like,
one.
Hey, is this the same team we prepared against?
Yeah. Look at the coach's
what
face.
was going
like,
on?
What the hell?
Tactical pause there. Completely different squad. I'd like to call an audible.
Even the crowd on the side of CJ, they're just stunned, silenced, if you will. They have to hear the Roosters
they
crow.
were louder.
I mean, they were loud in the beginning of the game, but then once BBQ took over, CJ fans were just silent.
BBQ can be quite happy with this one. And that was their blue side game, which has been favored, of course, but they looked prepared. They knew what to do.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot of criticism.
Yeah, Coach Karam there for BBQ having a small talk with Ghost before we get to this break. We'll see you guys after 8 minutes and 30 seconds. We are back here at BBQ Oliver's domination zone after game number 1. It was not close. Crazy was ruling the battlefield. The rest of his team followed up.
Not at all. Literally everything went BBQ's way. The bottom lane struggled early, but found the first gank and never looked back. Top lane won on its own, middle won on its own. The jungle, well, it didn't have to do a whole lot. Bono just being a new addition to CJE Entus, and no, not the U2 singer, a player. Scumbag here, Totoro not using the ultimate to keep him alive. I think they didn't have enough time. But if you give it on Tristana, Triss could have made it there. This is the big fight that turned everything for them. Look at Jax. He flashes in, but gets an amazing stun. That's a Titanic Hydra. That is the best situation to get that AoE damage going.
And then they desperately try to challenge Baron without Smite, and they lose all 3 members here at the end. They chase down Candy after Soul dies in the pit. And then Veritas gets a little bit too close because the Tristana gets the reset, and it was just lights out after that. It was one bad move after another, one desperate move after another.
And we were criticizing Ghost for being incredibly inconsistent before, choking under pressure, but things could not have gone better for him at this end of the game. A double kill here. He gets a triple when he chooses to jump in. The quadra on Tazara, but the team says, you know what? We'll throw you a bone here, Ghost. We'll throw Bono in there and have you get the pentakill. Throw him a Bono.
Throw him the Bono. There you go. Oh, man. That was actually a really nice setup by Ghost, too, because he had the bomb on top of whoever he pushed into the other 3 members, and the damage exploded on all 3. I mean, we call him inconsistent for a reason, because he didn't look anything like this in games that he was playing against Kongdu Monster. Maybe there was too much pressure there. Maybe he feels like the attention is elsewhere, perhaps onto Bono in the jungle.
Nobody thought it would be like this, and it might also be that the composition no longer truly needs him. You had Jax, you had Thalia, you got a new guy on the team changing things up. We don't even know if it's attitude problems that were caused by a Bless that were dragging the team down. It's similar to last year's run with Samsung, where Core JJ came in to replace Wraith and turned things around, not mechanically, but the morale of the team just changed everything. And I believe Bono might be, is that a real picture?
No, they photoshopped Bono's face out of the jungle.
This is super common though in the LCS for years. I still remember the days when a new player comes in, they would just Photoshop their faces onto somebody else, but the sizes of the players and even the skin color, besides like, you know, neck down, which is so much different.
Doesn't really work out unless you're a true Photoshop master, which apparently is hard to find here.
It's hard to find in a lot of places.
Yeah, so here we go. Bad pick for game number 2.
Okay, CJ, I think no longer can they pull that cute thing and try to ban out and rather take away tempt this Corki, give away the Thalia. I think they'll have to focus on mid lane and shoot for getting Candy that Syndra.
Seemed to be the key for any of the games that they did win, was having Candy play Syndra. And so definitely will be a bit of a focus. On the side of BBQ, now that they're on red side, Callista is an obvious ban, but if you want to push CJ away from this hyper carry, protect the hyper carry, Kog'Maw or Twitch, that kind of composition, they might find themselves trying to ban out other supports, but as I say that, they go ahead and take away Cho'Gath.
They could, but they should also consider striking at Ghost himself. Why not prioritize a guy that has been struggling? Of course, they looked so different before, but 5 games on Tristana, only 1 on Kog'Maw and 1 on Twitch for this specific tournament. And hey, with that last game, it's actually 6 games of Triss being the most self-protective AD carry. And we get members of Kongdu spectating their secret, and I don't actually know the name of the man on the left.
Secret stands out. I'm also at a loss for who that is, but I'm sure there's someone spamming it in chat right now.
They took the advice. They took away the Tristana, but now Ghost is onto the Kog'Maw. If the composition is lacking the Lulu, the Jannas, and potentially the Karmas, might get to see a Ghost that is out of position, struggling to get auto attacks into team fights. So a big test for BBQ now that they've switched gears with Ghost.
Will we finally see Jarvan? Yes, we will. Winged will be picking it up here, moving away from the Gragas that he played in game number 1. Wasn't confident about that, even with this fantastic cast. Him getting caught, just getting caught there in the river, did lead to a lot of his members getting caught out by the wall and the rest of BBQ, so perhaps just wants to change it up.
Well, I think CJ went into game 1 with the same approach as their matches against BBQ, which was just wait it out. We know that BBQ was struggling to be proactive, even though their composition can be. Let's not go for that. We'll just sit back, relax, try to get some farm, some lane advantages, cue the Zyra Ezreal. We'll scale with a Trinity for spikes, then have double AD carries. But they just got hit out of nowhere from BBQ, and just like that, the Lucian comes in. Favorable matchup into mid lane. Temp is no longer playing around. No more Mr. Nice Guy Galio Karma.
It's like a lot of the things that we were saying in their matches against Kongdu are beginning to be realized by BBQ. You know, throw Tempt on something that can carry. Give him the Thalia, give him the Lucian. And, well, his Thalia game in game number 1 was fantastic. Lucian into Corki, as you mentioned, favorable matchup. Would expect him to do very well against Candy.
Look at how much expectations he set up on himself. Now, obviously, there's still plenty of time to switch these around, but he's packing Ignite in Lucian. Sometimes you get to see heal, exhaust, but Candy, you know he's going to likely take that teleport. So the advantage in terms of pressure that Tempt would have with this offensive summoner would be so large that I think BBQ might be able to get away with replicating the start of game 1.
Yeah, hopefully for them. Lots of focus on the supports being taken away. We said that perhaps that's not the best idea up against Pure, who has played a plethora of different choices in that support role.
I think you grab the Karma here, or Taric instead. So they've gone back to Taric. And something interesting about Taric is that he actually also classifies as an Ardent Sensor support.
Can't ban them all. I suppose you could if you spent all 10 bans, but they're not going to do that.
Wish for.
Rakan seems like the obvious leftover choice here afterwards, so they go ahead and pick up that. But question is, what will be the top lane? What is Sol going to bring in blind? It looks like it will be the Mauka.
Makes sense. You play it safe. It's the same composition, really. Double AD carry. Survive, group up, and then you've got hard engage. But hey, it worked game 1, and this is the BBQ that we needed to see. This is the strategy that works in promotion. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. It worked the first time. It worked the second game. You keep playing this matchup. You need to force CJ Entus' hand. So Crazy taking Jax. We already know how it went down. He had a great laning phase, transitioned into red buff, switched to the solo long lane, and never looked back.
Yeah, and he has Sejuani with him once again. Bono seemingly supporting him a lot, especially early on before Baron was really a factor on the map. So we'll see if Bono can kind of be his little buddy once again here for game number 2.
So curious to see these compositions for Ghost, where typically you would see most teams focus on helping the AD carries like Hog, Twitch, Triss to be as strong as they can. But just for this specific matchup, they put 3 carries. You've got Jax, you've got Lucian, you've got Kog'Maw. This is something that is unlikely to work in a lot of moments. It's a fragile comp, but against CJ, against their passivity, it worked wonders. And CJ, well, they're looking down the barrel of the same gun once again.
We're going to have to see something better out of Candy's Corki this time around. He didn't show too much in game number 1. Never really got an opportunity to. It didn't get late enough before CJ was already on the back foot. But now he's facing an even harder matchup going into Tempt's Lucian. And Tempt did not bring Ignite. I will spoil that for you guys. He did bring the heal instead. So we'll see how he can do up against Corki in that mid lane. always happy to see Pugmaw on the Rift as well. But either way, guys, we are going to be jumping into game number 2 of BBQ versus CJE Entus right now. Well, they're fighting back, the CJ fans. They want to cheer their way into a win here in game number 2.
Cheering does influence at times, but there are booths. So maybe the booth stopped the sound. I've never been inside an LCK booth like these, although the ones I were in are much more antique.
Antique.
Yeah.
Back in the Bronze Age of League of Legends.
Oh, yeah.
Where Crumbs' career was born. Crumbs is actually a League of Legends dinosaur.
Well, I think by terms, by relevant and contextual terms, that's quite true. And speaking of things that are true, in the downtime, I looked up Bono facts.
Oh, great.
Not on the player, though. Those are harder to find than of the musician. Can you guess at what age he joined U2? How old do you think he was?
It's been around for a long time. They were famous like in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Probably like 17.
Wow, you're spot on. He's 16.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Joined a band at 16.
There you go. I feel like a lot of the great bands, though, did start when they were very young.
You gotta start when you're young, when your brain's malleable, when the obsession is something that doesn't get criticized, something that you just do. You got.
Well, it does when it gets in the way of schoolwork.
Sure.
We can talk about our education system again some other time.
You don't get criticized as heavily at that point. You got to pay taxes. Your mom's still feeding you, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
You got a room.
Yeah, it's a good time to start up stuff, including being a League of Legends professional.
They always say, when you're a kid, yeah, you complain now, but you should be cherishing this time. I gotta say, I agree. When you start laying down the pros and cons, you get a whole lot of pros.
What are the cons, then, of being a kid? Lack of freedom? He missed that candy, by the way.
Lack of independence.
No candy for candy tonight. Anything else outside of lack of freedom?
Lack of independence, being too young to do certain things, not having your own place. I mean, it's got its quote-unquote downsides, because at the time, you just want to do other things.
Yeah. I mean, once you go off to college, you're pretty much set. You get all the freedom you could really need. I wonder what the average age of people watching the stream is right now.
12.
There you go. Spot on, no doubt.
Well, engage bot.
There is that Ignite coming out. He's going for it. Here comes Veritas, but the heal comes in and he loses it. Oh, man, that is huge mistake going over to the side of BBQ in first blood onto Kog'Maw.
The Tristana choosing to jump in, just handing freebie to Ghost. Another boost of confidence for himself, survives the all-in and gets a first blood out of it with Targons. He had the Targons and won that.
That's unbelievable. Just enough sustain comes out. I mean, the barrier, the heal, the Taric heal, it all comes together for just enough to keep him alive.
And I gotta say, well, first, before I say that, let's look at how this engage happened. I'd imagine Rakan goes in and the counter engage comes through. So they jump in, they don't get stunned by Taric. The triangulation wasn't quite right, but Veritas getting baited there by the shields and the heals out of Totoro. And this is a highly difficult, highly defensive bottom lane to kill. You've got heal, you've got barrier, and I think that Veritas is the kind of player that is becoming frustrated with this. The fact that they are not able to get all-ins against BBQ to get these kills online. He wants to get some kills. He wants some action, switching up the champion pool, but he's now realized that, hey, this is just going to be the meta that we're playing right now, and has succumbed to first item, or the first purchase, a Cole.
It's really unfortunate, you know, you would never really see that at the top level. You got the barrier and the heal and the flash. You don't need the kill. You don't need to do that. You're going to have so much pressure in bot lane. You're going to be miles ahead.
Especially
and then he rocket jumps in and dies.
When your jungler is Jarvan. You've got a higher pressure jungler. I mean, at Kog'Maw Tarek, they couldn't be easier to kill with that kind of combination, but hey, he's now on the back end, and he's likely just going to be stuck farming for a very long time.
I will mention, I mean, it is one mistake. It's a big one for sure, but I do want to mention that CJ does have a sub for the 80 role. It is Avenger. I'm not sure how many games he did play over in Challenger. We'll see if I have any stats on him.
I don't think there's any chance that they'll sub him in.
Yeah, there's no stats on him, so it's probably just a name on the roster.
Another Bono.
Another Bono. Well, Bono joined 9 days ago for you guys who are joining the stream late, replacing Bless, and I guess he's been looking more consistent, less mistakes. There was that one time he face-checked the brush, but I mean, it happens.
At least the last hitting has been a lot more consistent for these teams, and we got our first lane gank here. Here it goes.
Oh, leap strike in, and so much CC coming out of the Maokai. He is going to heal on up with that passive, and you can see that Wing doesn't even commit to it. Not even level 6 at this point. And so Jax does get away.
More like a lane push there. Surprise Jarvan pushing the lane, but showing like that does end up costing the red buff for him, and now Sejuani is starting to get ahead. Starting to get to the point where she wants to be. Sure, some early kills would have been nice, but when your bottom lane already pulls ahead, you've got a winning top lane matchup, mid lane that also is applying pressure. You don't need to do a whole lot as a jungler. Just keep farming, let them have vision, and you'll know you'll be in a good spot for the mid game, late game to be a good tank and initiator.
Liking that move by Bono, not scared to do stuff like that in a couple of his first televised games, I would assume.
I really want him to change the name. I can't stop thinking of the music.
I just don't like when you name yourself after something. I'm sure he, I don't know, there's no Korean word like Bono, you know? There's nothing in Korean where you could say, oh, he chose it because it means this.
And there's very little.
Literally, he's probably going to get in the interview if BBQ wins, and they're going to ask him, and he's going to be like, "Yeah, I like Bono from YouTube."
There's no way he says that. There's no way. I think.
Why else would he have picked the name?
It's got to be a word. What if it's his own name is Bono? We don't know.
I don't think that's a name. I mean, if it is, sure, prove me wrong, but I don't know.
People name their kids weird things.
It is the 2 syllables of a first Korean name that you would normally see.
Right. What if that's the case? Or
could be Kim Bono.
The common thing is that they heard an English word and butchered it so badly that it became something else.
There is stuff like pro bono, you know,
oh,
where you do stuff without being paid.
So he's saying that he's free.
Yeah. Maybe he's just playing on BBQ pro bono.
Ladies. What? He's free. That's pro bono means free.
Yeah. But usually in the sense that he's not getting paid. Maybe this is his trial run.
Holy, that could be it.
Yeah.
I think
that's what I was.
Yeah, I think he just hit it. He's boosting BBQ pro bono.
Yeah, pro bono. Here we go. Comes on in.
If any of you get ideas, never do that, actually. You need to get paid for your efforts.
Yeah. Consult an esports lawyer. Got a bunch of those out there nowadays. Yeah, I don't think he's playing pro bono, but
I would hope
you never know. You never know.
He's at least getting chicken, so.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody on BBQ gets chicken. pro bono. Maybe this is his trial run. They're like, hey, we'll try you out here in promotions. If you play with us and we qualify for LCK, we'll give you a contract.
Yeah, could very well be.
I doubt they're allowed to play like without a real contract though. But we do have a fight down here. Veritas getting very low. Here is going to counter engage, and the teleport comes in from Candy. He does have that Cosmic Radiance is coming in. Bono comes in. Will he lay down the ultimate? He's not going to go for it, as it is 3v4, and they were able to disengage.
Meantime, Jax beat Mauka up here, but Maokai's pretty strong right now. He's got minion advantage. Jax isn't quite spiked as he was before with the Sheen. He's building more for sustain, switching up the build. He's going for the Vamp Scepter at least early on, which is an indication of a later to come Blade of the Ruined King. And back to the gank and bond side on Bono, I think it's refreshing to see that he's holding on to the ultimate. He recognized that
this time it made sense.
This time it made a lot of sense because more people from CJ had committed. They could get away from it. Lucian would be able to make it back to lane and maintain pressure. So overall, it's a good decision, and the grievous wounds onto the Jax aren't impacting this matchup a whole lot.
He's got his ultimate this time around for this 2v2. Will he lay it down? The stun coming in, the culling, and whoa! Trying to ult the Dragon on the right side. Dragon's getting angry now. It's like, what the hell, man? I wasn't part of this fight.
Trying to get as many members involved there, but no, it was Winged flashing the ultimate, even though it looked hilarious, but he's back up for more blood.
He's back and forces a flash out, but there's the stun with that range. Will go down, Tempt picking up the kill, and Bono is all over them tonight.
As you said, welcome to the Bono zone. He fakes it out onto the Jarvan. The real target was faking out Candy, and he ends up dying, and it's a kill that has way more value than actually taking down Wing, so he gets the last laugh, and hey, he didn't even need ultimate for it.
Yeah. And CJ is not really living up to the challenge tonight. And yeah, I mean, he's just going super aggressive. He has no idea Bono's there.
He even canceled the Valkyrie. I think he got baited by Tempt's low mana pool. And how many times have we seen Corkis get their Valkyries canceled as of late? Because it seems like every single Corki, when ganked, dies for the same reasons.
Seems that way. Just totally unaware as they get ganked there in the mid lane. So Bono was going really deep.
Look at this roam from CJ though. What are they looking for? I think they're trying to get in different lanes, but why? There's not a whole lot of reason behind this move. I thought that BBQ would respond to it. Yeah, they did. So it wasn't on the base timing. They're just switching things up, going to the top side. This might have to do around the Rift Herald, because it is a Cloud Dragon. That Herald early on might have more value to both these teams in order to crack down the mid lane turret. But if they're basing here, looks like they're just trying to avoid bot lane at all costs. And yep, there they are. And the one who gets the worst end of all this is Mauka, having to switch back and forth. Like, hey, you want me to switch again? Come on, guys.
Well, he will push the lane before he goes. Tristana.
Okay, he's slow pushing, so there might be okay, this looks like a move for first break. Why did he do that? What? You could have had first break.
Oh no!
You could have had first brick, Soul. This could have been what you
Where's
needed.
Where's he going?
What?
Oh boy, okay, we do have the counter engage though. Now it's 3-on-2. It all makes sense now as Bono is being focused down, but that is a tanky Sejuani. But they do get the flash out of both the jungle and the top lane, and now CJ's got 4 members on this turret.
Yeah, so now it makes sense as a first brick push, but BBQ not quite there for the jump. That should have been so much easier to execute had he not actually pushed that minion wave. You would have had a slower crash, more minions. You didn't have to go that hard, and that's the kind of minimal play that looks like it didn't matter, but it had a huge implication on what could have been a couple of kills going CJ's way. A dive onto Candy, though.
He's going for it. There's no Valkyrie available. Oh, boy. He did Valkyrie, actually.
He faced
on the wall.
The Valkyrie on the wall.
Oh boy.
He lit the fire to his own pyre.
Nice confidence there out of Tempt. Not even sure if he was expecting to get the kill, but as you mentioned, failed Valkyrie and no flash for Candy means that it was an easy pickup for our mid laner, who is now 2-0 with Blade finished. And here they go, they're turning it around. Soul is getting stunned for days. Cosmic Radiance coming in just to make sure nobody goes down. And that's going to be 280 carries on the side of BBQ that are now 2-0.
And the Rip Herald, the swap that CJ initiated, they were shooting for first break, and sure, they got it, but they had to pay dearly for it, losing multiple members, losing out on the Herald, who will lose in mid. And let's take another look at this one. So he burns the package on this, but how does he actually not choose to do anything about this? He just lets Tempt have his way with him. Doesn't even answer any damage back. Lucian, yeah, that was bad.
If you just Valkyrie over him, the culling has to be
direction.
canceled, and he's eating so much damage from the turret already.
Any direction, anything but what he did was better.
He panicked. It happens.
It's like you get a multiple choice, 4 choices, and you just somehow you even miss to put it in the right spot. You just didn't even register in the machine.
Yeah. You use a pen instead of a pencil.
Right. You made mistakes that weren't listed.
Yeah. Well, CJ, they want to fight back. They want to push this top turret, but even Crazy getting some support from the Taric is holding it for now. And meanwhile, Tempt has just come down here by himself into the bottom lane up against Mauka. What can Mauka really do against this this really fed Lucian already?
He can do what trees can do to guns. Nothing. So he just has to sit there and wait. The life steal is going to be too much, and here's a dive.
There's the culling and all that CC. Not going to be lined up because the teleport comes through. They do respect that. But look at that. Teleport comes in, and Rift Herald is used mid.
And Kog'Maw by himself. This is a rare sight to see. The dog off his leash, and he's got Herald with him.
Oh, man. This dog is going nuts. He's going to take out the turret. Breaking away from his chains. Cosmic Radiance coming down, trying to save this turret. It will for now. The TP comes in, and Soul wants to continue. Crazy going to leave Striker 8, but it looks like Totoro will not be as lucky as they do swarm him 4-on-1. But
why in the world is Ghost rotating top? He could have been in mid lane taking down the tier 2 out of CJ Entus. Now it's Bono with the right move there. Oh, Bono. The shot call could have been huge. This could have been BBQ getting even further ahead, countering the play out of CJ Entus. But hey, they do get the first turret in the bot side out of Lucian. They get the one middle. So it's not all that bad. It just could have been better.
yeah, some small mistakes here from BBQ. We can't expect them to be perfect, especially out of these promotion teams. But overall, definitely a nice series of events here for BBQ.
Expect perfection at all costs.
I have to settle. It's what I'm used to here. This week has been settling week.
I refuse.
These teams, they want to prove that they can make it into LCK. So far, it's been... I feel like Kongdu's kind of close to proving it, but even they, after winning promotions, I feel like they didn't.
Well, what do you mean? They
it.
proved it. They're in.
I mean, they proved that they can make it in through the challenger teams and through the, the bottom of LCK. But I don't know. We'll see how they do. They did definitely fight back to get into LCK, but I'm not 100% convinced just yet. We can say.
I mean, are they going to be a top team in next year in the LCK? Highly unlikely.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly.
We haven't had any like Royal Rotor teams, right? That just make it into LCK and then win the championship.
Not in LCK. That has happened in many other leagues, though. It has happened to G2, Cloud9. I think those are the only ones. The only 2 orgs that come in and legitimately first year win it all.
Okay. Well, Kongdu already missed that opportunity as they were in LCK before, but looking for a better performance compared to Spring Split of this year. Either way, we do have CJ versus BBQ on the map, and we actually have 5 kills at 20 minutes. A kill every 4 minutes. I like it.
And they've been
doing their homework, but this 3-man squad out of CJ is way worse than what it looks like. These kids shouldn't be out tonight, Valdez. Trist and Corky need to be staying in lane farming. They are too important for this composition. In fact, without them, this composition falls apart flat on its face. You gotta have Corky and Trist farm, and they're already falling behind when it comes to CS compared to their counterparts, and they're behind in kills if that wasn't enough.
Yeah, they definitely need to be farming. They need to keep up. It's not looking so good for them so far. BBQ 4,000 ahead in terms of the gold, even on equal towers at this point. Ghost with the respect. It seems like he knows that Maokai's in there.
This is so good for BBQ. They just have to look at CJ, but a fight starts.
Okay, they're trying to get onto Candy here. Wayne's coming in the back. He's going to trap 3 members of BBQ. But look at the Cosmic Radiance dodges all of that damage. Ghost is going to take down Rakan.
Jax is here.
Candy's all the way in the back. Let's see what Crazy can do. He's flashing onto Veritas. Completely takes him out of the fight. And that means that the rest of CJ is going to be routed. No more rocket jump here for Veritas. And there it will go down. Crazy picks up another kill. And BBQ, they're running away with another game.
No more rocket jump, but the music is playing louder than ever for Bono and the rest of BBQ. You've got a 21-minute Baron here. The Jax came in. Even though he had a great opportunity to split push down there, his addition on a 1 fight around Baron means that they get this objective, and they're shooting for the stars here. This looks like it's going to be another BBQ game in a clean fashion.
Yeah, I wish it were Sunday so we could call this Bloody Sunday. Do Bono a little bit of...
Is that a U2 song?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not sure if that's the exact name, but that's the topic. Either way, another missed ult by Bono, but it doesn't really matter, as the Cosmic Radiance is absolutely perfect. Look at the positioning of the AD carries as well.
It is, and Bono even missed his ultimate. This man is just using it as a statement against CJ at this point. He doesn't need ultimate. He's just saying, we can kill you without it. Every kill he's gotten has basically been without the ultimate, and the kill onto Tristana, onto the junglers. I think CJ's got a whole lot they can do in this, and then they should be thinking about the next game most likely. They still have a fighting chance, but the laners need to stay in the lanes and farm. That's so important.
Might be a little bit too far gone at this point. You know, so many kills being racked up on the side of Ghost and Tempt. I think at this point, they just need to sit back and defend. Like, there's no way they can take a 5v5, especially with the timing of Totoro's Cosmic Radiances. They've been
Look at the
absolutely
TP out of
perfect.
Mauka. They're shooting for Cog and Tarek. Wait a minute. What? Okay, it's on mid. Change of gears.
Okay, let's see if they can turn around onto this one.
It's still just as questionable.
Yeah.
That was
Desperate.
awful.
Pretty desperate at this point. That was the only ward they had in position to attempt any play like that, and
But that's exactly it, Velas. You don't settle, and he's gonna die by himself.
Whoa, okay. Soul versus the world. Soul loses. He hit an ult! He hit him! He got Candy in the back. We have Crazy being jumped upon. It's a 4v3 right now, and a very nice Cataclysm will lock up 2 members. But meanwhile, more turrets, more destruction on the base of CJ.
He goes in, but he plays Martyr for the team, and now he's gonna stop some bases. Here's that Ardent Blaze, rather.
I love it. Delaying these backs. Not going to be able to get an inhibitor at this point, but
it was good that the rest of the team were able to follow up onto Soul. And while it looked bizarre to see the Maokai jump in 1v3, it was everybody else collapsing that made that play worthwhile.
So they do make a play happen, but we do have Tempt on 4-0-2 and Ghost on 3-0-1.
Let's see where the rest of the squad is. Corky, Triss, Jarvan, they're all around, just not quite right away. The Maokai significantly tanky to live through this one. Does a bit of damage to the rest of the team. Let's see how it goes. They get baited by Bono.
Yeah.
They could have gotten away, actually. So that actually should have been a very bad move from Maokai, but he chose to, the rest of the team chose to re-engage out of Bono hitting his first ultimate. They're like, well, we gotta go on this one. They didn't pay attention that every time that he's missed is when they've won.
Yeah. Every time he hits, they lose the fight. Remember the time he got caught in the river? He hit that one onto Zyra, and they lost.
Yes,
they lost him.
did.
So there you go. Let's hope he throws it in the opposite direction.
Oh, I guess in game 1 where he hit the Zyra. They caught Zyra, but right at top side, top tier 1, he caught Zyra, but it was like a 5-man play.
That's true. Also, Zyra just ran straight into him.
Zyra's the exception to the rule.
Okay, we figured it out. There we go.
But what BBQ has figured out is this 1-3-1 is something that CJ is not prepared to deal with at all. I was mentioning don't settle, but CJ chose to settle for the worst ward instead of thinking of how to get the best vision possible to enact the most successful play. They have Soul TP to the most rancid position on the map and finds himself jumping into 3 people, which should have been the death, but they're going to Jax.
Oh, look at the Cosmic Radiance on Jax. There is no hope for this Maokai. Sufficiently tanky. Not this time. And that will be a free inhibitor for BBQ, making quick work of CJ at this point.
It's like this man is against the Amazon forest. Just chop all the trees down, giving himself away 24/7. There's nobody else ready to follow up without Pure and Wing willing to combine themselves for an engage. They are never going to win these battles. And now BBQ have a man advantage with Jax split pushing. And there's no way that CJ pull this off unless BBQ dives.
I mean, look at this. They're going to go for the Cataclysm, though. They do have that AoE from the Corki. A nice engage by Pure once again, but I think they're just too far behind. They don't do enough damage, and they don't have Maokai. Down goes Tempt, or rather Pure, as Tempt picks up his 6th kill on the Rift here, and things are just getting out of control. BBQ looking to end game number 2.
Yeah, they are putting the pedal to the metal. They now see, but they're going on to Jax without minions.
Okay, they're just going for it, man. They got no hope. We'll see. Soul is going to go down. The culling comes out, and Kog'Maw is getting a bit crazy. Can we give a little bit more kills to Tempt this time? They're not going to go for it, as BBQ will take down the 3rd inhibitor, and game number 2 eventually.
Crazy's going to teleport. They're shooting for gold.
Yeah, they want this. Candy is coming out, but they are going to move on top of him. Tempt taking a bit of damage. That Cosmic Radiance is only going to hit Totoro. And in the end of it all, they couldn't take out any Nexus turrets.
Well, it is really greedy to go for a 1, 2, 3 Nexus inhibitors into Nexus in all one go. Your tank does not have enough HP, mana, resources, and you just want to spend the gold. After all, this game is pretty much in the bag.
Yeah.
It is in the bag, Valdez. We're just magicians, and we're not letting you know what's inside.
Yeah, our secret, phrases that we say means that you guys will stay in this one. But yeah, it's kind of like solo queue strats, right? Where one player goes in, dies, another one goes in and dies. The team isn't playing as a team.
So CJ's trying to engage with Cataclysm, but that's no crowd control. That just says you can't leave this specific area. So they just start wailing onto them, and without BBQ initiating that dive, they have the position. They're able to retreat, keep the Cog and Lucian safe. And it looks like they got a lot of pointers at how to play AD carry, as a much improved Ghost still lives out of the Cataclysm.
Yeah, and you can see what happens when Tempt gets put on one of these carries. We said it so many times. And finally, they're beginning to listen. And I know it's against a weaker team like CJ, but he's shown that he can carry even in games in LCK when he gets given the right champion. So it's lovely to see Tempt come in here and just carry out of control on this Lucian from the mid lane. Really says a lot about this guy's potential, and they're just going to go for it. The engage. Wing is disengaging, but Soul is going to try to go in. Candy and Veritas not able to do much. Nice knock-up, though, on the backside there for CJ. Doesn't look like it's going to be enough. Tempt, though, is going to be CC'd down, but Ghost is at full health, full mana, chopping down the trees, chopping down everyone else on the side of CJ, and chopping down the Nexus for game 2.
Every single objective that belonged to CJ was BBQ's this game. Ruthless in their evisceration of CJ Entus, and now one game away from making it back to the LCK. They are angry here.
The Roosters, they were taunted by the Kongbu Monsters, but they've come back. They are chopping down CJ, making it look easy, making it look like they are, in fact, an LCK team, that they deserve to be there. Whereas CJ, we can't really say the same about them tonight.
They don't know what hit them. No preparation, VOD review of the promotion tournaments would have given them any indication that this BBQ would show up today. They're stunned. Everything that they could have looked at, all the information that was at most relevant to this specific tournament, out the window. A completely new BBQ, revitalized, is just wiping the floor with CJ.
And you can't ban out everything, right? You can't take away Lucian and Jax and all the other stuff that they want to take away, the Thalia, the Corki. You can't take everything away from what BBQ has on their list of champions that they can play. So will be a very interesting ban pick for game number 3. We'll see if CJ can get something going into a reverse sweep or not after a commercial break. It's all about your spicy wings here in promotions as BBQ makes it look easy for the second time in a row. Absolute domination from the Olivers tonight.
We're going to start with a wowzer moment out of CJ's bottom lane, but even if this moment didn't happen, it was just a one-sided affair in every step of the way. BBQ had CJ's number the entire time, and plays like that just looks like nerves at this point. End of the line. You didn't get a whole lot of play time on the big stage, big audiences, Challenger Series, and now when it's time to shine, CJ Entus has absolutely not showed up, whereas BBQ have rewritten what we thought was going to be a slow, gruesome game. They're out here to play. They're out here to get back to the LCK.
This was Soul losing his soul as he went 1v3. And, well, Bono, whenever he hits one, they lose a fight, which is what we've learned. Did turn it around a little bit towards the end of the game, but this is one of the times where BBQ just gets caught a little bit. But it didn't matter as Kog'Maw and Tarek were pushing the top side, and this is one where he hits it again, and Tempt just goes man mode. Boom.
They're able to close out strong, but they've played a similar draft to game one. Both Sejuani, Tarek, and Jax were picked in the previous game, and you can expect them to also go for it again. If it's not broke, don't fix it. The strategy is what you always do when it comes to series games, especially 5-game series. So BBQ well more prepared, and CJ Entus need to just shake things up as drastically as possible, because even in composition and play, they have just not been up to the level that BBQ have been there, and they even lost faster this game.
Yeah, 2 games in around 30 minutes here at Spring Promotions, and most of the damage did come out from Kog'Maw this time around. Total protection from the Sejuani and the Tarek. Totoro with another really nice Tarek game. The timings on his ultimates have been on point every single time. There's a reason why he's playing it in tandem with the Kog'Maw. They ban out all the other quote-unquote OP with Ardent Sensor, end quote, supports, like the Janna, like the Lulu, like everything else, the whole slew of them.
That
but
beautiful
makes it work.
Man, Bono on your screen.
Oh, that Photoshop is awesome.
CJ Entus win. This might be a sign that doesn't have a big lifespan anymore, as they are facing every match from now on is match point for them. They have to reverse sweep. There's no other way around it.
I wonder what Hand Hug is. One of the sponsors for BBQ.
Hand Hug.
I guess it's gloves or something like that. None of them are wearing gloves, though. They're just, I don't know. I suppose we never will know about Hand Hug, as the third ban and pick is starting up right now for game number 3.
Long cheers, but the bans are already pretty standard. Kalista likely to follow up from CJ as well as the Janna, though I would hope that they actually don't need to ban Janna here. I think BBQ have shown that they don't care about the support meta anymore. They know what they're going to play. They want to be more proactive. And with Galio as the first, this is so... Why?
I don't understand
This makes no sense. You haven't lost to Galio. You haven't played Galio. CJ just curveballing everybody here. No one's in on the joke, not even themselves.
If they have something very specific planned in the bottom lane or something like that, where they desperately cannot be countered by Galio.
But even, we've been talking about Temp, it makes no sense to put him on Galio. You know that BBQ is not even looking to put him on Galio anymore. This ban is so weird.
Unless they do something specific that I was saying. But, you know, I'm on the same page with you. I don't agree with this one.
All right, it's over, fellas. What's going on? You let Kalista. Okay, so it's not really over. It's not really over. Tune back in if you still have sound on. But you let Kalista go through, which is the big deal here. And with Kalista coming through, it actually gets passed up. I think that Ghost is not willing to play Kalista. It's too intensive. It relies too much on that team. And CJ and Entus get away with trading Janna for Kalista, actually.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense in the end of the day. This must have been their
Well, your best
master
matchup
plan
is Tristana against it, so you can get Triss, Janna as a lane. But this puts a big burden on the bottom lane out of CJ that has been struggling a bit. The Thresh is not there. That's the combination that we saw the CJ bot lane be successful in. And I think that the Galio ban was a cue for BBQ to see what was coming and prepare, have more time to think about it, because they banned Thresh last, even though it has been not as heavily prioritized as Pyrrha has prioritized it in the regular season and Challenger. They do get rid of it, and now he's stuck with Lulu. So the laning prowess, the engaged capabilities of Kalista, not really getting them here when you're going with Lulu as the champion that you throw into Fate's Call.
We see the Kog'Maw instead of the Tristana here, and finally we will see Candy on Syndra. So as far as it's going in this ban and pick, I do like CJ's chances a little bit better coming into Game 3.
Indeed, this does look a lot better. You still have power junglers available, Jarvan and Gragas. You can snatch one of them up, unless BBQ choose to target them. That would likely be BBQ's best bet, to force Winged onto something else, but he hasn't been that spectacular, so it would only harm the composition, but not necessarily hurt a player, because he hasn't really done much.
He's just kind of been there. Just hanging out, flying around. He is Winged after all. We do have the Jarvan ban taken here against Winged.
So with the Jarvan ban, it is an indication that I think the Gragas will come out as well. And that could put Winged to a Rek'Sai, just a heavily suboptimal pick when it comes to playing this style that they have been playing. It forces them to just be so much more active than they have been this game so far, this series, this entire tournament. So they'll have to shift gears in a big way if they want to succeed with this composition. And while it does have power picks, still needs action.
Do have the Gragas banned out, so CJ will not have that available to them, and so they are thinking about a Zac here, and they will pick that up. Another one of these tanky engaged junglers, but not quite on the level of Jarvan and Gragas nowadays.
It's good engage, but let me tell you that playing Zac against Janna is near impossible. Tornado will ruin your day every single time. You're flying up in the sky, she controls the damn weather. You will never land.
Crazy's getting a little bit crazy in the ban pick phase. Goes ahead and just plays Shen this time around, so no Jax, no split pusher. They did use 2 bans against Crazy in this game.
This comp is all about Kalista for CJ. All efforts go towards Veritas. He has to succeed in a big way, but it's made hard for him. Every AD carry outranges him in the opposite team. There's massive AoE damage, slows, Janna to keep everybody away from you, heals to make sure that you don't get the Ren set, and to make matters worse, you also have Shen that makes your attacks dodgeable. It's rough.
What are you gonna do?
For Kalista.
Yeah.
He has to get out of lane and start roaming big time. Look for team fights. CJ Entus. Proactivity once again. It's hard to emphasize it every single time, but hey, it's what will win them a game.
What are they going to be Fates calling into the fights? You were talking about how Lulu's not really an option. Obviously, the Syndra and the Rumble. I suppose the Rumble? Do you really do it with the Zac?
No, you always go with Lulu. There's no, you're not binding to anybody else. That's not even a choice.
All right. So they will go with the Lulu.
You need the laning. You need it for laning.
Okay. So not really going to be that optimal choice you were talking about.
I mean, imagine an Alistar here. Oh, that would have been glorious.
They're tied to the Ardent Sensor, man. Everybody is. Once these picks are available and not banned, you just have to pick them up. They're too strong. So we do see the Janna getting through here on the side of BBQ, but options have been traded to CJ with the Callista Lulu, and this is going to look very different, I would hope, as very different compositions are coming onto the Rift with the big changes in the bans that we did see. So looks like we're all ready to go, guys. Let's hop into the Rift for game number 3.
Double pause.
That timing.
If you thought one pause was bad, you got 2 now.
Double the issues.
What could be the issue? Somebody needs to pee. That's the first question, but
right when the game starts.
Just started. Why would you do that?
Right when the trip starts. That's when the kids always ask.
You just far outside that you can't turn back.
Yeah. Probably not a
Bathroom break.
Yeah. Must be something else.
Oh, there's skin issues on the BBQ side.
Oh boy. Here we go
it's
again.
It's too crispy.
It's a little bit too much olive oil. Crazy says that he had the incorrect skin appear in his game. Not the one that he selected for his Shen.
Was I not saying that teams like to remake scrims if they don't select their right skin?
You cursed us, man. It's all Crumbs' fault. For your guys' information, he wanted to play TPA Shen.
Of course, and he got Warlord Shen. Classic mistake. You can't start out crazy skin issue. Look at it.
Oh my God. Why is that there?
Crazy
oh boy. Crazy skin issue here for BBQ.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, when you got this big of a skin issue, you don't even know what to do, man. That's why we had double the pause.
Oh my God. Crazy skin issue.
So, the last time we had to deal with this issue, it was just.
It wasn't crazy last time.
Yeah, it wasn't this crazy for sure, but it took a while as the refs had to discuss whether or not to restart the game, whether or not to deal with it.
I'm sorry.
You just can't handle it, man. You just can't handle it.
Oh. Wow. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, they're gonna restart the game, guys.
Oh man.
We got a pretty crazy one here.
Oh, crazy skin issue.
Bono's not feeling too Bono about this one. He looks really intense. He's not happy with the pause.
He knows why it happened. It's like, well, I got to sit next to Crazy. It could be contagious. It's crazy after all.
It's out of control. How are they going to deal with that in that booth? So the game is being restarted. The players are rejoining the game. And
that just made my day. I hadn't. Yeah.
The cast is complete.
Oh man.
Crumbs has gotten his fill.
That was awesome. It is awesome. Look at that. You ever wonder if they peek through the blinds, look, spy on the other team?
Oh, look at that.
They're like,
Crazy's got that little blind open.
Yeah, he's peeping.
It's so that he can look at the Korean casters, no doubt.
The CJ blinds are shut.
They don't want to look at us?
No.
Yeah,
no.
They got all their blinds shut. I see it over there. It's a bit sad. So, That's a really cool mouse that Ghost is using.
You think so?
What is that mouse?
CJE Entus win. What's on the backside of that?
I think it's the logo. Maybe it's a CJE Entus.
Hey, where'd he get those napkins? Oh, they're letting him eat. They're letting them eat. Okay.
Yeah. These days have been pretty long.
Zooming in on how many chews does it take for him? 10 chews is the recommended amount. He's gone long. He's gone far. He's helping the digestion really well, breaking it down.
He's probably eating some rice cake, something really chewy.
What is that? That looks like rice cake.
Maybe it's gum.
Is it a big?
Oh,
wait, he's eating the
right.
napkin. Oh, it's gum. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I don't know why I thought that was something else.
Referees are taking extra time for discussion for the crazy skin issue.
Should we?
The thing is that he's got fantastic skin. It doesn't even make sense. The joke just falls flat on his face. Quite literally.
Crazy skin issue. Oh my god.
So
this one, I think that this for me is better than the toilet issue. This one trumps toilet issue for me.
Yeah, this one was pretty good. Yeah.
Crazy. Especially on BBQ, like you cannot get a better setup than this.
The combination is perfect. So Soul, he's not too happy about this one. I think during pauses like this, they're not allowed to talk.
It really ruins the mood when you gotta pause out of nowhere. Just as you start, you just bought your items, you're telling your team, this is the game plan, you just have the words of the coach in the back of your head and then pause. Crazy skin issue.
Yes. Yeah.
It's no longer on the screen, at least. So.
But you guys know that it's still there.
Yeah, I can't laugh at it if it's not on the screen.
The CG still exists. So there you go. The referees are taking extra time, so we're gonna have to wait for this issue to be dealt with. You guys can go out there and I don't know.
Not really sure why it takes this much time.
Talk amongst yourselves, I guess.
I feel like the answer is a yes or no, and that usually takes about a second to say yes or no.
It's just the skin, right?
I think we've had these issues before. Not crazy skin issues, just skin issues.
Yeah.
So this one in particular seems
level,
like when FLICKR had it, he had to play with a skin. They said, FLICKR, you can't switch.
Yeah.
Does Crazy get preferential treatment? We don't know.
Probably not, I would have to say.
Well, with the time that it's taking, maybe.
They might be discussing, maybe we should let them, maybe we should not. I think this bug has been around for a really long time now. Funny that we're still dealing with this in 2017.
If you want to start the list of stuff we're still dealing with in 2017, it's a long list.
Yeah.
Mordekaiser, I think somebody made a thread saying 1,300 and something bugs still, like just a ridiculous amount of bugs, and maybe 100 or 1,000, whatever the case, it's still a huge number that shouldn't be allowed. Azir basically unplayable because of bugs.
Sucks. It's not very good. But I guess the game just doesn't want him to play TPA skins. We got Worlds coming up. TPA 1 Season 2.
The first real league.
Yeah.
Season 1 was a fraud.
It's like Season 2 parentheses 1 parentheses.
No, you just forget about Season 1.
But then you would call Season 2 Season 1,
yeah.
and then Season 3 is Season 2.
And then we wouldn't do that. Of competition, Season 2 was the first real season.
So this Worlds is Season 6?
By the standards of composition, yes.
Okay.
I mean, obviously nobody calls it that, but nobody ever brings back Season 1. Oh, yeah, Season 1 Fnatic that won it all. Ask anybody.
EU has a championship.
Ask anybody on Fnatic if that actually counts. Any EU.
All Twitch chats around the world know that counts.
The reason why it doesn't count is because Korea wasn't playing. Not everybody was actually invited. That's like calling yourself, you know how in baseball they say the World Series.
Yeah.
champions of the
The
world.
world champion.
Champions of the universe.
New York Yankees.
You didn't invite the world or the universe. How can
Do
you
have a lot of players from around the world
Well,
in that league, and it is the best league.
Criticizing the name, but yeah, it is the best league. Everybody wants to go for the money, the fame, moving out of your slums and living in America. There's a lot of benefits. That's how a lot of baseball players start.
I suppose so, yeah.
I had to play baseball with a broom and a cap.
Did you
cap.
really?
Yeah, that's how I used to play baseball.
With a cap?
Yeah, you grab the cap of like a bottle.
Was it at least a Gatorade cap?
No, like a metal cap.
Oh, from...
like a bottle.
Okay.
A metal
bottle
bottle
cap, yeah.
And you use a broomstick and then you hit that.
That's like next level.
You get really good like that.
I guess that's how you get really good at baseball. You got to train. So here we go, guys. I don't even know what we're talking about. Game 3 is coming back as it is loading up here. Hopefully there are no more crazy skin issues on the Rift anymore as the players are getting in there. And it looks like...
he did it.
I think that's TPA Shen. There you go. So here we go, guys. Game number 3. We are back on the Rift.
This is what we waited for. This right here, the pixels in your screen, is the reason for the delay.
If you were in the booth, Crumbs, would you make a big issue?
Oh, I'd say no.
About the
If I was a
different
ref, I'd say no.
I mean, if you were a player and you loaded up and it wasn't the skin that you chose.
I've had that happen before. I don't care. Unless it was a skin that has very standout cues for specific abilities.
Yeah.
I would. But for purely aesthetic reasons, never. But we don't really know if it's purely aesthetic reasons out of crazy. TPA Shen does have different audio cues that might be helping him out. So there are reasons to consider going for the remake. Champions like Bloodlord Vladimir, Dragon Slayer Jarvan, Forsaken Jace, and so forth. Definitely change a lot based on their skin.
Yeah. Imagine if you are a pro gamer and you've played 150, 200, maybe even 500 games of Shen. And every single one of those games, or 99% of those games were on TPA Shen. Would you want to play as whatever other Shen skin? Of course not. And so that is why they make the issue. I want to see Candy's Syndra really turn up the heat and make this game interesting. The first 2 games were stomps, and Candy is 2-0 on Syndra here in promotions.
He has been having a solid Syndra, but everything else just falls apart. And on the other side, though, of the carries for CJ here, Veritas, I think, has finally accepted what must be done. No longer are they shooting for any kill pressure bottom lane. He's fully embraced the barrier heal support and started to go Targon. So recognizing that there's no way that they'll actually be able to get kills here in this lane, just farm it up, get as much gold as possible, and that means that we get to have the camera on the junglers.
See the turning here, he's doing a good job, but it's all about the Bono right now. Coming on in, gets the stun onto Zach. Winged fighting back here, but the red buff is going to leash. And somehow Bono was able to get up there after double buffs into the red buff before Wing could even get it. Looked like Wing's delayed path up to his own red buff really did a number to him, as Bono delaying that back once again.
And Bono having a field day here. He knows if Wing will try to steal.
Oh, they see him. He's going in again. He's gonna hop on in, and no one's rotating just yet. Gonna knock the 2 heads together, but Wing just getting very low. There's that stun. It looks like Candy's gonna be the first one in here, but look at Crazy, and he pops the passive.
There's
already.
TP to stall.
Okay, he's gonna TP. And the smite coming in, actually. Now it's Bono who's taking the damage. First blood, and Wing flashes the wall. Crazy now gonna take a ton of damage. Nice flash there, though, at the last second to get himself out of harm's way.
The next level mind games to the 9th degree there. Wing going back in, knowing that he had passive stalls just enough for Candy to make it in. And if Syndra is joining the party and you're a jungler, you are not invited. She almost gets to pick up the double buffs, but it still goes to the way of Soul. And it would have been so much better for CJ had Syndra been the one to get that kill. But having Rumble get it is at least a good advantage for them to get in the early game. And that's the first time they've gotten first blood in this series.
Yeah. It's important for him, too, because he was falling behind on CS against the Shan up in top lane. Crazy was being very oppressive in that lane, but we're going to take another look at how this happens.
So let's look at the collapse as well. We know how this fight happens, but Syndra gets the push on mid lane and starts collapsing. Strange to see Wing not use his smite to heal onto the red buff. Nonetheless, it baits everybody from BBQ to try to go for this play. And the classic teleport into cancel. Surprising Sejuani. Bristle never had a chance. Never stood a chance.
Poor Bristle. And so, not the best start here as Bono loses his double buff on the play. Soul gets his own up on the top side. But definitely a very good start for CJ.
Well, he gets the double buffs, but is it actually helping him? He's 20 CS behind. He's fallen more behind roaming and getting that than not.
Does the first blood make up for 20 CS?
He's even more behind. What's going on top?
Uh-oh. Never mind, it is Corki. Good reaction time there on the Valkyrie. Yeah, I'd like to take a look up at top lane, actually. We know what's going down here in bottom lane.
Yeah, get the camera away from this.
Yeah, who really cares about this? We can revisit this in 20 minutes, Mr. Observer.
Picking up coins.
Go top lane, please. Tempt is going to get ulted, but it's just, I mean, Syndra's sitting on a Doran's ring right now. Okay, here we go. I mean, this is what's going on. Crazy just getting in there.
Okay, now that Rumble finally gets a pushback. This is what he should have been doing all along. He just doesn't feel safe doing this without the jungler. Not willing to go off assumptions. Wanted to know complete facts.
We're trying to bait in Syndra here. Not a bait after all. Bono just going to help push out the lane, so Tempt can get a better back.
So, back to the U2 singer. Can you guess what his real name is?
He's British, right?
Irish.
Irish?
It's a tough one.
Irish. Is it Danny?
It's Paul.
What? So
Yeah.
close.
Paul, yep.
I was going to guess Michael next.
You think they call him Sir Bono or Sir Paul? Because he's also a Sir.
Probably Sir Paul.
I hope they call him Sir Bono.
Sir Paul. That's a decent
It
thing
sounds
to call
like
yourself,
an
I guess.
exotic dish. Ah, yes, I'd like one Sir Bono, please.
One Sir Bono. Well, he hasn't really been Sir Bono in this game. He got baited pretty hard.
It's the first time he really had that much of a spotlight on him. He's been mostly just there. Really hasn't done a whole lot. He's been assisting with the ganks, doing his job, but it loses some of the flair when you were doing it on Sejuani 3 games in a row, and the ultimate is not your main skill.
Bono trying to interrupt that hop, but didn't end up working out. Look at the rotation on in to the red side by CJ. 4 members get in here. They're going to have to let that red buff go. Now it does go. Smited over to Winged.
Finally, CJ get confidence to start moving out of their lane, start looking for the objectives that can get them ahead. They needed that one kill to know that they'll be ahead, at least in one matchup, which is the jump. Now they have Shen to worry about.
Tempt is too good for your Zac gang swings. I'd recommend taking a look up towards top lane.
Oh, that's even harder though. Trying to kill the Shen without previous trading.
I think it's easier than the Corki.
At least he's getting pressure on mid, which isn't much, but I don't think there's really anywhere that he can be going to influence the map too heavily. He's probably better off just farming and doing what he was and just trying to take objectives. But if he combos it with a stun from Syndra, it will work. That's the fourth time?
I think that's number 3. It was either 4 or 3. Ooh, sneaking by the ward. And there's no ward in the try. They know they're pretty weak in terms of vision down here, but CJ decided not to go for it. I think they could have had a pretty good opportunity here. But it is Janna, and it is barrier heal, so not the easiest gank to pull off.
If only those summoners were... If only defensive summoners just weren't a thing.
That wouldn't be very interesting, I don't think.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Only offensive.
And you're not allowed to have Ghost Flash, but Bono gets revenge onto Wing.
Okay. Nice bit of damage. He's not going to get baited this time. Even with Syndra nowhere near. Would have taken a long time for the
This is
Sejuani.
payback. Looking for the Gromp, the doubles rather.
Spots him, but he's looking for help. He has a level 6, actually above level 6 Shen, and he has Corki with package, so they might be looking for him to recall and then go for that.
He's
they
not
see
in the
this.
brush.
They see it. Here we go. There comes the ultimate. 1, 2, 3. About the easiest setup you ever could have seen. Not even going to use teleport for that. No way they could have saved that. And a nice pickup for BBQ as now they set their sights on top turret.
That's why you always base in rushers. You never want to risk that kind of play. And
Well,
they're going to Soul, who has Flash.
Yeah, he's going to flash here. Oh, the flash in. They're committing to this one. He doesn't have equalizer anymore. That will be the second kill going over to Bono. I'm the carry now.
No charities for Bono today. He is all about the slaughter here. 2 kills. He's the sole carrier of the kills and assists for BBQ. And with a completed Cinderhulk, he's off to a great start. Zac has it as well.
Yeah.
But Sejuani definitely has the pressure advantage now that Shen has become online. So we're going to look at how it all started onto Wing. No chance of response. Window shopping at the time. And it's strange to see Soul choosing to stroll into the jungle after his own buddy died. It's like the guy in a horror movie that, hey, this looks like a dangerous place.
And he turns around and fights it when there's a Shen on the map.
Should I go?
He's like, yeah, I got flash. I'll get out of this one.
We need to split up to have our efforts be more effective.
That just gets him further behind in the top lane. He's 31 CS behind a Shen.
You know, I had a moment like that here in Korea. It was a bizarre. We were walking down the street and we heard like some strange noises through this really dark alleyway that you had to imagine that some shady things were going on. And me and my group of friends were like, you know what? Let's not add this story to our night. Let's just go home. And that was it. End of the story. Something horrendous could have happened.
I was looking forward to a more climactic end.
That's how you end your horror stories. You just say, you know what? I'll go home.
Oh, he's going in. Tempt's not going home, but he actually eats it. It is the bait in the end. The immediate cleanse, even though it doesn't come down. The kidnap comes in. Is it enough damage? The flash forward and the missile. He gets it. What a play by Tempt. He is going to eat it, though, in the end from Winged, who now has the support of Pure coming in, which will mean the end of this fight. But not the end of this one, as Crazy's getting onto Soul. Bono gets there first, and that will be another death for Soul up in the top lane.
Bono with 100% kill participation. Even Janna wanted to be a part of that one, flashing in making sure that she starts to get on the scoreboard. Hey guys, I was doing something, but we get to see the interaction between mid laners, and that was without the Shen ultimate, because that would have been even more one-sided. At least CJ get to walk away with the higher HP and secure a Mountain Dragon for all their trouble.
Even though it took a little while for Bono to get really comfortable in the series, I feel like overall his play tonight has been better than we've seen from Bless, especially here in promotions.
So let's look at when Tempt engages. So as soon as Syndra pops the W, he goes ahead. But he's not with a lot of mana right now, so he's likely having to wait on his cooldowns, not being able to shoot rockets right away. But now we get to see that strange interaction that the Scat of the Week actually stops the kidnap from your own team.
We got another fight up here. Soul just can't help but fight against Shen, and it goes the opposite way every single time. Spirit Passage, or rather the hood picked up here first for Shen as he's building towards something in that range of magic resist. He's going to fight now as he has Veritas and Fear making his way up top, but he will not go down.
Well, Soul's been outclassed when it comes to lane every time. He hasn't had the greatest matchups overall, but this is one where it should not have been quite this bad, especially with the first kill and double buffs. And once again, CJ looking to make that push for first brick, but against a packaged Corki and without a composition that can push this hard, it's nothing more than just a swap of lanes.
The two members, Candy and Winged, going up towards top, opens up an opportunity to push mid and dive here onto Candy, who has neither summoner. Bono going in. There's that Stand United, and he lands it this time onto Candy. Down he does go. Winged just going to attempt to survive, and that he will. But this turret is going to go over to BBQ.
Finally, we get to see how to punish cleansed mid laners. The cooldown is not permanent. They have downtime. He gets to revisit mid lane, kill Syndra, and it's a 5-man play to make it for the mid-tier 1. And that's without the Rift Herald. And CJ nowhere to be found. They're just dilly-dallying on the top side, trying to go for some cheeky lane swaps. They didn't even get to push in any lanes and actually make anybody miss out of any CS. So BBQ with a massively positive play and already 3,000 gold up.
Sejuani with more damage than Corki at this time. 3, 1, and 2, 100% kill participation. She's been part of every single fight.
Sir Bono indeed.
I mean, this guy is not going to be doing pro bono after this series. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in LCK.
I thought you were going in a completely different direction there, but we got to keep it PG-13.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, but it is the way it is. Bono just running on in there, no hesitation. The package coming in and just everything thrown into Candy as he does go down. So an unfortunate start once again for CJ. Their composition was looking better. The undefeated in promotion Syndra for Candy might be defeated after tonight.
That's how you deal with Syndra. Just use your hard engage tools to constantly go onto her. And the itemization also built to deal with the line that the CJ has.
Oh,
Wit's End on
what a sir.
Hex Drinker and Merc Treads, MR everywhere. Sejuani not a target for you to ult, not when you're behind. So much of CJ is gonna have to fall on Veritas' shoulders. And we have yet to see him do anything. They just have never grouped. We're still in laning 20 minutes in.
Bono gonna take this opportunity, go for the Rift Herald. Take that out by himself. There's really no pressure. They have a control ward behind the Rift Herald and a control ward in the pit, so totally undetected. We'll have Kog'Maw sidle his way on over, help out with that objective, and down it does go.
Okay, now this Rift Herald again should likely be used on an attempt for a tier 2 push. It's really important here. You're ahead. You want to crack the game open. Already, this advantage of 3,000 is not significant enough for CJ to worry about not having a fighting chance. So it's time for BBQ to crank up the heat, start shooting for some tier 2s, You can use it in a side lane, only if you can go for a tier 1 and a tier 2, but it would be wise to get a Rumble ultimate before utilizing it, as that can just destroy the entire wave.
See that dodge? This guy's getting so confident after his play in this game. It's the next Peanut, guys.
Who's signing Bono next?
The only thing that bothers me is that it's not capitalized. If you're going to name yourself after someone, you should probably capitalize
I really don't think it's named after somebody.
You think he's literally just using the... We know that it means good, but we don't know which language. I think he's using that instead.
So that could be a possibility, but the thing is, pros like to have a lot of weird names, and I can't tell the story, but players like Insect, their names were changed and it was something else. Same with players like Sneaky. Actually, I don't even want to go. This is just a bad idea. Save me here, Valdez.
Okay, new topic. We got to fight. Bono is off the rails now as he's going in with that Stand United. Fate's Call will save the Lulu. Veritas is out of mana, but he's going through. It is a... after all, and here we go. Soul is just going to be bound by the rest of BBQ, and down he will go.
This is now perfect for Rift Herald. They're shooting for mid lane tier 2. Bono gets in position without the Rumble Equalizer. I don't think that CJ is going to be able to stop this. They're going for even more kills.
The stun comes up, and now Tempt is even going for Candy. He's just going to leave Winged to his team. Candy will be fine. He's got Lulu nearby, and that means that Winged actually does get away, so perhaps not the best option, but does mean that everybody has to go back, and that this Rift Herald will have more of an impact.
Great use of it now. They only have to hit it till half HP, rotate over to the Dragon, and you get yourself the first Infernal of the game, and you got a double AD composition that will benefit even more from it.
Turret going down up in top lane at the same time. BBQ looking on another level from CJ right now. We expected it in games number 1 and 2. After games number 1 and 2, but we are getting the reality hitting us smack in the face as BBQ is now 6,000 ahead. Looks like they won't stay for the Dragon, so at least CJ get a consolation prize.
Oh, I guess they didn't want to take it. With Cog and Corky Janna, you'd think that they could actually take that in a matter of seconds, and probably like 7 seconds before it was completed, but they give it away. Still not the end of the world. 6,000 gold up. This is exactly what they needed, especially taking that tier 2 mid means that the control around Baron with a Kog'Maw, with a Corky is going to be ridiculous.
That tornado was a millimeter away from the cannon, and so
he missed it.
Missed the cannon,
yes.
Yeah. So sad. Bono getting on in there. Not going to take away that ward. So at least CJ will keep some of their vision. Moving forward as a unit. Soul does have TP, and Candy is taking control of the mid lane, but it looks like they want to go in. That control ward will spot them as they're clearing out vision. But at the same time, Wings is actually going to be blocked here, trying to get away, but they're just going to turn onto it. Passive will be procced here. Doesn't look like they want to... they have some AoE. They're thinking about it. It's very close, but Wing does survive.
They didn't want to commit too hard because they knew that Soul would not hesitate to use teleport onto the Zac, and so far that's really all he's done this game. Saving Zac, preventing Wings from dying right away.
Here we go, Bono once again on forward, Stand United. This is the combination for this BBQ team, but Bono might go down. The heal comes in with that Monsoon, and he's still alive. Shen getting on top. Candy is going to pick out that kill. I have no idea why he was going in there. He wants the fame, he wants the glory, he wants to stand on the big stage, just like Big Brother Bono. But here we go, pushing on forward still. Wing's gonna have to go back. Veritas getting very low. Wild Growth pushing forward. They want that kill, but it's not enough. At least they do pick up the Zac on the back end.
So close for being a fantastic fight for BBQ, and they can still consider Baron here if they blast cone over, but without a jungler, it is pretty risky. Bono's got a Warmog. See, I don't know what was he thinking.
He's getting too hyped, you know?
He took 2 spheres back and back.
Yeah. He took the ult too. He took everything. Equalizer. And this is not going to be stolen. Veritas doesn't get there in time. Kalista not the best Baron stealer anyway, but down it does go. BBQ now at 8,000 gold ahead. We're going to take a look at how this went down.
So they're picking on Syndra, who doesn't have flash. And I like that they're using the Shen ultimate right away. Make sure you get everything in there. And here's where Bono should just be, all right, I'm going to go hide instead of chasing the Syndra. But he does. But in the meantime, you got Cog Janna stacking up with Ginsu's. No more needs to be said.
Ghost has all the support he needs, along with Tempt. You can see that burst damage that Tempt is doing now. They flash forward for that one.
Why would Zach even go in there?
He wanted to save Veritas' life, but it was ill-fated from the get-go.
Here's a fun fact. You ever notice how doctors never actually save lives? They simply change the cause of death.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Ah.
That's really smart of you, Crumbs.
No, I read it on the internet.
Crazy is being hunted down here, and there really is no hope as all the Ren stacks come out and the fangirls scream.
Oh, those
finally,
screeches
CJ.
were being held in for an hour and a half.
Well, they're going to be silenced now. Don't worry, Crumbs. We got the push coming on in mid. Baron is taken. Mid inhibitor turret gets low. Bono now is on the run.
By the way, I wasn't saying that the screeches weren't enjoyable. It's a matter of the power that they pack.
Yeah. Well, they had the engage on in here. Actually, just barely missed Bono. Flashing forward, trying to get that head smacker. Now it's Bono all alone, kidnapped 1v5. Even he is not great enough to take on the entirety of CJ.
He can't go on solo tours today.
Nope. Now is not the day. TP coming in behind Tempt.
That's a solo what?
Rumble versus Corki.
Oh, he vouched right away, though.
Yeah, and so we do have the equalizer coming in, burning him down.
They're
This
still
is buying so much time for Ghost to chip away at this turret.
There's still Shen ultimate, so I don't think that Soul thought that one through.
Minions still doing damage, not even cleared out. Winged clearing out a ward. Finally, Candy does the job. Tempt is sitting on a ward over here. And so they were thinking about getting on top of him, but he has Valkyrie back.
Last time these two fought each other, it was Soul running away big time. There's Kog'Maw, rather Corki. He's got a lot of magic resistance. Both summoners, heal, Shen. A lot to ask for a lonely Rumble, but they're going on to a 5-man onto BBQ. They obviously can't find the bottom lane, but they at least get something. This is what you want to see. This is refreshing out of CJ, the fact that they are willing to commit everything for each little pick. It's going to be a slow, gruesome climb for them to get back into this game. But as long as they throw everything they've got at any opportunity that BBQ give them, they'll be fine.
Yeah, one step at a time, one kill at a time, one objective at a time. They do have 2 Drakes already, 1 Mountain, 1 Infernal. Definitely will help out, but
what happens is teams greed out. They want to win in one play. They don't want to slow work it, slow roll it. But BBQ is playing it calmly, already split pushing. They're going to go with the 1-3-1 once again. They know it worked in different compositions. You can do it with a Corki. This is the moment that CJ needs to be looking for, going for a pick onto an individual member while they are split up. I think the Kog'Maw is the least vulnerable of the targets, so you probably are better off looking for Shen, target the global, or go for Corki. No matter what, you got to bring your whole team.
yeah, I think it's got to be at least 2v1, probably 3v1 when you factor in Shen and all that good stuff. Rotations that eventually get there.
Well, the thing is, if you go bot, you always account for Shen, the summoners, the champion itself, and how quickly Jan and the rest of the squad can rotate. If you go top, same thing. It's really difficult to go onto this bot lane already. Why?
Ghost left Totoro to kill that.
He needs some moolah.
Yeah.
What's he gonna finish there? He already has the bracer. It's gonna be a completed build Janna.
Yeah, makes redemption. So we're getting close. Basically completed build, as you need to keep that slot for the control wards for a while.
Long are the days where the supports are the last ones to complete their build. Of course, it's
You mean
cheaper.
long gone are the days?
Yeah, they're long
Yeah.
gone, but they're cheaper.
Yeah, makes sense. Also Targon meta. Ardent Sensor meta.
Except they're still not valued for what they can do, just for what they have. Nobody cares what's inside.
Well, BBQ, they started the 1-3-1, and then, I mean, they're doing it again, but they're having trouble really pushing in. They don't have Baron buff anymore, of course. Baron is coming in a minute, so maybe they'll just wait for that buff, take it slow.
They're not going to commit for anything here. Pushing the waves, you still have package. As long as you have your side lanes pushing, when you fall back into Baron, you'll drop all the vision that it needs, you clear out everything, and you'll have sufficient time to make the educated decision on whether to turn or finish the objective.
Also, even though we say they haven't done too much, they have chipped away at these turrets quite a bit. Well, you're going up against Sejuani Janna. We talked about how Zach can do, and wow, he lands the max range Sejuani ult. This guy's getting better the more we see him.
Bono, kind of like U2's music.
Better the
more
longer
you
they
hear,
go.
as you keep hearing, you're like, yeah, okay, that wasn't that bad.
And so because of that, because Wing's trying to engage on in there, this is going to turn into Soul going down and a botched engage from CJ. We'll see if they can turn it onto Crazy at all, but Wing's going to have his passive pop. So even though Crazy does go down, it is going to be 4-on-3 currently in the favor of BBQ. They're looking for 2 inhibitors now.
The base got cracked, and that's all that BBQ care about. Baron is up as well. These members can shoot for Baron afterwards, so even though they lost Crazy, he's going to be the guy that can join on a Baron fight faster than Soul. He'll have a bigger impact onto this, and there's nobody left on CJ that can afford to face check. BBQ know, and they're looking for blood before the worm.
Oh, they don't want to get caught there, and on to Veritas they go. All the cooldowns being used to save his life, and he is hopping around, but it is just not enough. That's gonna do it. The ace for BBQ as they look for the 3-0 tonight.
That's end of the game now. No longer do you need Baron. And Valdez, I think we might have found ourselves our returning LCK team.
Oh yeah, we definitely did. They proved it tonight. They're gonna take out the rest of these members as CJ have a desperate finish. They're going back down to Challenger as the Bible thumbs will come out for CJ, but BBQ very well deserved 3-0 over CJ, making it look easy tonight.
And the rest of CJ was thinking that they were gonna save the organization, bring it back to its former days of glory, but that glory will have to wait at least another half year. As relief for BBQ, this is the kind of victory you're not particularly stoked about it. You're not high-fiving, you're not jumping up, you're not giving people hugs. You're like, yes, this should have never happened. Let's forget this moment and prove and get better so that we never face it again.
They definitely are very happy, even so. I mean, you get on the ropes and then you lose to Kongdu and you have to say, oh man, you got 1 best of 5, and really does suck. But they pull it through and they do make it work, but can't say the same about CJ here. Not even a single win. They didn't even make it close tonight. That definitely says a lot after the team that you beat in the finals of Challenger gets out first place in promotions, and then you lose to the team that lost to the team that you already beat once. Doesn't feel good, Crumbs.
No, it does not. CJ, very well aware that they were by far the weaker team today. So even though they're going to be demoralized, saddened, teams, I believe we even have some fans crying in front of us.
Yeah. It's pretty saddening.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see that one, actually.
I mean, it's everything on the line. We talked about the importance of LCK versus Challenger. You don't want to be in the Challenger League. Everybody watches LCK. That's where all the money, the fame, the glory, it's all in LCK. That's where you have an opportunity to go to Worlds. That's where you have an opportunity to win the big championships, but if you're stuck in Challenger, you have to wait an entire season, and that season is only going to begin in January.
It's a long time. Roster changes, new map, rather new meta, not new map. No
New map.
Did I spoil
New
the
map
secret?
spoiled by Crumbs.
Oh, magma chamber. We're just gonna look at how it all started. This is how it actually was being turned around from BBQ. Soul, I don't know what he was doing today. It might have been tilt, might have been just lack of communication with the rest of the team, but BBQ had superior teamwork, superior skirmishing, just every other aspect was higher than what CJ had to offer.
Yeah.
And it really showed. It showed that
Temps mechanics.
at this point, there is just no chance that BBQ should be in Challenger.
Yeah, 100% agree. They proved it. I wasn't sure what to expect coming into this one. I thought it would be a lot closer than this, but BBQ had other thoughts in mind. And Ghost looked good. Crazy was winning his lane. Tempt was winning his lane. Bono looked good as a sub-in for Bless. Totoro played some really fantastic Taric. Every single player tonight played really, really well.
And I think that when you look at how stark the contrast is between BBQ against CJ and BBQ against Kongdu, you look at the champions, the drafts, everything, and while it's obvious that BBQ have learned their lesson, the one largest difference is Bono. It's Bono, Valdez.
It's Bono!
He's the biggest factor in this. We don't know what he's been saying to the team, how it's been going, but
He is the big change.
he is a new player. That has a bigger influence than just new picks, and for the last game, he killed it.
He really did. Sejuani was on point. I think almost every ultimate landed, if not every one. And he was so confident too because he knew with the composition that they have with the Shen to back them up and the Corki to get right in there, the speed boost from Janna, he knew that he could just go ham. They were already ahead and he was just charging through. Bristle and Sejuani leading the charge and Bono controlling them all. So another dominant victory for BBQ. That is the story of tonight. How BBQ said, hell no, we're not going to Challenger. Get us the hell away from there. We are an LCK team.
But CJ, they retain that spot, the spot that nobody wants to hold. I don't think there has been an organization
The
that
best
has
Challenger
gone
team.
to just being Challenger overall, but being at the peak of the league and then at the bottom of it. Well, I guess at the peak of the bottom, but
Yeah.
the organization has legendary status. Some of the oldest League of Legends fans, if you started from the beginning, you know CJ Entus. And we'll be deprived of another season of LCK, but we do have the Olivers.
Yeah, we do have the Olivers. They make their way back, and they highly deserve it. So we're going to go ahead and listen to the Olivers and see what they have to say in an interview with the entire team.
So we're going to have a really glad interview with BBQ Olivers. So congratulations on your victory. It was a really crucial match for you. How did you prepare for it? Well, we made it to the finals, but I'm still happy that we could make a 3-0 wins. So a lot of people have been expecting a lot from your performance on top lane. How did you prepare for the laning phase? In terms of Jax, it was kind of like simple. It was an easy game, so I really want to thank CJ for opening Jax for me. Are you satisfied with your plays today? Well, I did die a little bit, but yeah, I'm kind of satisfied. Then we're gonna meet Bono. So it's your first match as a pro gamer. Hi, I'm Bono, the new jungler for Olivers. Well, it was a really important match. Weren't you really under great pressure? Yeah, I was really nervous, but I tried not to think of it and try to relax. Well, yeah, and you actually did play as a really professional player. How did you prepare? I think I just played as I practiced, and how I do in those ranked games. Yeah, I think it worked out really well. So how was your first match? It wasn't really as nervous as I thought. And I also had one match in the OGN Stadium, so yeah, I think I was okay. So a lot of LCK's fans are impressed by your plays. Are you ready for the spring season? Yeah, I'm gonna do my best as a LCK League player. Then we're gonna move over to Tempt. So you showed great macro. So what was the concept of your whole game? I try to keep in lead as a mid laner. And a lot of people were looking forward for your outplays in the mid lane. I think you really made it. Are you satisfied right now? Yeah, especially the fact that we made 3-0 games is really awesome. And during the laning phase, I had the confidence that I could win all the other players, so I think I made it really well. And obviously, current meta is all about AD carries. Weren't you really under great pressure? Yeah, I was previously really nervous, so I couldn't make some really important plays that I should make as an AD carry, so I try to chill a little bit, and yeah, I try to make it work better this time. So speaking of pentakill, what kind of situations were going inside the gaming booth? So I actually tried to stay a little bit more secure, but as I got the quadra kill, all the other teammates dive into their base, so I think I made it. Is there any special change you made after the last match? Well, to be honest, yesterday we had some practice and it wasn't really an easy game for us, so I thought I should be more aggressive. Yeah, and I tried to get rid of my style of trying too defensive plays, so I think that helped me a lot for today. And for last, we're gonna hand it over to Totoro. So you've shown great confident plays today. And compared to the last match, you were kind of defense last time, but today you were really confident and aggressive. Well, preparing for today's match, I had a lot of worries, but I could see the CJE players didn't prepare the Ardent Sensor meta, so yeah, I think it was kind of easy for me. So, what made you become more aggressive and confident? So I think I could see Ghost getting more confident during our practice, so we could get a lead in the laning phase and get more visions. And that really helped other laners like Bono and also top laners. Yeah, so the confidence in Ghost helped the whole game a lot. Then, is there anything you want to say to all the people out here? Thank you for coming to the stadium and rooting for us. And also, I want to really thank Jinair and Rox for helping us with the practice games. And all the other players who came here to support us. And Crazy, is there anything you want to say about your coach? Well, our coaching staff has always been so critical for me, stop getting ganked or something like that. But thank you for carrying me so much. And I always want to thank all of our coaching members. And this was the end of the interview. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ji-Sun, for that translation. And yeah, that's going to do it. Nice to hear from all of BBQ. Cool to hear that they practice with Jinair and Rox. We get very specific names about the teams that are helping him with their practice for promotions.
That just shows how these teams, Jinair and Rox, they're not taking any breaks. They're still just trying to be as best as they can in preparation of next year, the league, Kespa Cup, many tournaments still upcoming, but that's the end of the promotion tournament with BBQ requalifying and Kongdu Monster taking back their spot.
Yeah, so this was a pretty cool tournament. It was my first time doing this with you, Crumbs, here. Some of the games were very long and just, especially that last day on Thursday, we had the 4 games of just like Kog'Maw protection where it just never ever ended. But
never
finally,
forget.
BBQ was like, no, like enough of this. Enough of this. Like, we're just going to kill you. And Bono, it seems like he's in for LCK. He's like, yeah, I'm here with BBQ. I got picked up and look forward to my plays in LCK. I definitely will be, as he looked pretty good tonight.
Yeah, looks good for him. But unfortunately for CJ, that is twice that they were the #1 challenger team and fail miserably, just disappoint. And their fans are so passionate. It was heartbreaking to see them burst into tears here, as many of us will, because CJ, it's an organization that really carries a lot of weight. Like, I cannot emphasize how big this organization is in Korea.
It's massive. It's everywhere. I mean,
just tell us how massive. You've been here longer. It's food, movies,
does everything.
Literally everything. Gaming,
esports. Yeah,
esports.
It's all over the place. They just can't get a team in LCK. Eventually they will. I'm sure.
They should be back.
They got to rebuild their team. I mean, they're going to have a long time, and the game is going to change a bit as we do, enter Worlds, and they do that big patch and change up the game going into Season 8. But, of course, we do have to wait until that does happen. But, yeah, that's going to do it for the end of promotions here for me and Crumbs. Thank you all for watching, and I guess we'll see you next time on The Rift.
As good as the day I met you, I forget just.
팬분들이 항상 바래왔던 건데 그걸 이뤄서 너무 좋은 것 같고
올라가서 지금 너무 좋고요. 너무 좋은 것 같아요.
이번 승강전 올라가면서 준비를 다들 열심히 했는데 고생했고 되게 내가 실수할 때도 많고 잘 안 되는 게임도 있을 텐데 그래도 잘 참고 같이 열심히 해서
되게 힘들기도 하고 좋았었던 기억도 많고 다 같이 이렇게 좋게 돼서 잘 됐다 생각하고
팬분들 저희 정규 시즌 때는 그렇게 만족스러운 경기력을 보여주지 못했지만 승강전 때는 좋은 모습 보여드린 것 같아서 되게 응원해 주셔서 감사하고
내년 스프링에는 저희 다시 좋은 모습 보여드리면서 꼭 플레이오프나 우승까지 할 수 있도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
팀원들한테 고맙고 응원 열심히 해준 팬분들 전부 감사합니다.
뭐라고 하지?
그냥 다시 롤챔스를 할 수 있다는 거에 다행인 것 같아요. 할 수 있어가지고.
다음 시즌을 볼 수 있다는 것에 대해 되게 좋은 것 같고 그냥 걱정이 없어져서 편한 것 같아요.
걱정했을 팬분들께 살아남을 수 있다고 말할 수 있어서 다행인 것 같아요.
일단 진짜 좀 안 좋은 성적으로 승강전 왔었는데 분위기도 많이 안 좋았을 텐데 그래도 열심히 해줘서 고맙고 잔류했으니까 이제 다음 시즌에도 잘해야겠지, 저번 시즌보다. 그래서 쉬긴 쉬는데 그래도 열심히 솔로 랭크하고 기량 유지했으면 좋겠어. 파이팅.
네, 생각한 대로 좀 저희가 열심히 준비했는데 이긴 것 같아서 좀 다행이고 앞으로 더 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.